That's a pretty cool thing that when you're at the halfway point, you eat half the thing of ice cream. Because did you say, I don't know if you said it in the story, it takes like 3 months to do the Appalachian Trail, right? Am I wrong about that?
Oh, it's got to.
That's a haul, man.
It's pretty long.
Yeah.
I mean, 2,100 miles. Through hikers want to attempt the record may only allow the $12 worth of ice cream to start to melt in the sun for a few minutes. Got to be timed. The ice cream challenge record is less than 4 minutes, set 2 years ago by a man with the name of Squirt.
Oh, Squirt?
Yeah.
I mean, a half gallon of ice cream in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
What kind of brain freeze would you get?
A typical through hiker takes 5 to 7 months to hike the entire Appalachian Trail.
Missed it by a few weeks there, Brian.
Yeah, only I said 3.
You know what you ain't got
I'm
at
going
that
fast.
point, Brown?
J-O-B?
Yeah, you ain't got a job if you can take 5 to 7 minutes to hike and eat ice cream.
You can take a hiatus from work.
For 5 to 7 months?
That's a good job. What are you,
Sabbatical. Some pastors take a sabbatical.
I guess we had a former employee that did that a little bit.
That is Trash Today show being brought to you in part by our friends at Gutter Cap. Tell us about Gutter Cap, man.
Cap it, don't snap it, 205-823-2212. That is the number you need to call. Ask for Chris Stewart. 45% up the retail price right now. Look, a lot of rain in the area. You need to make sure the gutters are clean and free-flowing. The answer is Gutter Cap. Patent aluminum cover system fitting over most existing gutters that will keep everything out but the rainwater. 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com.
It looks like Texas. You got something really important?
No, really important. Go ahead. No, this is just a frivolity at the end of the show.
Okay, save that.
Okay.
We'll need that because this is not frivolity.
Go.
Texas State looks like they're going to be the 8th football playing member in the Pac-12. 4 different TV networks. It looks like it will double the media buyout of what the schools that left the Mountain West was getting. They were getting just under $3 million a year. At least $7 million per school with the new Pac-12 media rights, according to reports. If Texas State leaves the Sun Belt, there are a number of teams that the Sun Belt is looking at. They've asked permission to talk to East Carolina, part of the American right now, I believe.
Yeah.
Western Kentucky, part of Conference USA, I believe. Jacksonville State's name is on the list. Would you be interested in them leaving Conference USA for the Sun Belt? If you're Jacksonville State.
Yeah, it's a step up and there's better games. Better games, better rivalries. Yep.
Yeah.
It seems like a good fit.
Yeah, I think Jack State would be great there.
Middle Tennessee, Liberty, and La Tech. Yeah. La Tech's got a new president now. The old president and AD said the Sun Belt was beneath La Tech at one point, but they may circle back to them. Should UAB be on that list? Do you think UAB...
You've always said you think the Sun Belt's better for them.
I just think that's such a good football playing conference.
I just think they've lost so much steam. I don't know if anybody wants them.
I mean, but you got to remember now, media market, too, helps them. I mean, I can't offhand remember all the Sunbelt media markets, but I would have to say Birmingham's the largest, right?
Yeah.
If you added Birmingham.
Yeah, but if you actually break down Birmingham and look at Birmingham,
I don't disagree.
People that are watching UAB football.
It's not a ton.
Yeah.
I mean, East Carolina, they're going to talk to them. They draw really well, East Carolina does, for their home football games.
Yeah.
I bet if you looked at their average attendance, it's north of 30,000 fans a game. The ECU game.
They had it kicking for a minute. I think Steve Logan, when he was there, had it kicking. Ruffin McNeil couldn't quite keep it going.
I don't know if La Tech still draws well. They did at one point.
Yeah, I mean, Skip Holtz was pretty successful in hindsight at La Tech.
I mean, Jeff Blake was a great quarterback there. Gardner Minshew for a minute.
Yeah.
Boy, if I was Jack State and they did come knocking the Sun Belt, that would be tremendous.
Yep.
You'd be in there with Troy.
Next round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and Bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, welcome in. It is a Friday edition of the next round. He's Lance Taylor. I'm Ryan Brown. Dunaway out today. He'll be back with us on Monday. We got Tyler Johns here, man in the controls. Scott Forrester makes sure we look good. He's got the full-time job doing that. Taylor Corn on social media at Next Round Live. Emily Grace McWhorter covering the SEC for us. Just about everybody is here. Welcome to summer, day one of the summer.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's
Longest
right.
day of the summer. Which,
day one.
I don't want to jinx this because we got rain yesterday. No, I was just going to
start a
say.
sentence with I don't want to jinx it.
Hopefully there's no rain today because I will be poolside late.
None in the forecast, Lance.
And here's what I'm planning tonight. A little viewing of Jaws in the pool once the sun sets. Sound good, Tyler?
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. On the floats, make some of those Shark Attack drinks.
Oh, yeah.
What's in a Shark Attack?
I don't even know. Blue Curacao.
Curacao?
Yeah, the grenadine.
Yeah.
I think it was Outback. They give you a little toy shark that has like the grenadine in it, and you dump the shark in there, and then everything turns red.
You know, we had a sponsor for a minute. Do you remember the seafood place? And they came and they mixed us drinks. They had like,
oh yeah. They were good too.
Yeah, but one of them was a Shark Attack, and they had the toy shark that I've got on my desk. Need to bring that in here to celebrate a little Jaws. But when we got done with the drinks, she came back. She was like, "Hey, can I get that shark back?" And I was like, "No,
negative. That is my shark now." When I was at school at Jacksonville State, Brothers was the most famous bar because they had all the musical acts, and it's where the infamous Freddie Kitchens fight happened. At Brothers Bar. They got him suspended from in Jacksonville, Alabama. Got an Alabama quarterback suspended. Weird situation there.
Can you imagine that video on social media today?
Oh, it was a brawl, Lance. I've told you before. It spilled out into Highway 21.
Were you at the bar?
I was.
Yeah.
I was there. I was trying to remember. It was not the Velcro Pygmies.
Because there was a place called, it was called Gene's Jukebox. And unfortunately, somebody got killed there.
Oh,
but
dear.
they used to let us drink underage there. And so, and I'm not kidding, between my senior year in high school and freshman year in college, we were there every night. It was down on the south side.
Yeah.
And it was one of the biggest brawls I've ever seen. Chairs were being thrown. I saw a dude get hit in the face with a chair that was thrown.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's brutal there. So, yeah, this was, as I remember, 1996. Is that right? Going into the 96 season. So I was in my...
Was that his senior year?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that's right. Or maybe I've got the wrong year. I don't know. I'll look it up. But, yeah, that was he got suspended. It was national news. But anyway, what I was going to say is just around the corner on the square in Jacksonville was a place called Gators. I didn't spend much time at Gators because they didn't have live music.
Anybody ever bring a knife into Gators?
Probably. But they had a fishbowl.
Yep.
Which, I mean, they've got those at a lot of places, right? And I think a fishbowl was a dash of a little bit of everything they had behind the bar. And if you drank the entire fishbowl, you got a rubber alligator that was about that big. And a lot of people used to hang them on their rearview mirror. Like they were proud that they got the gator at Gators.
Yeah, back when Buckhead, back before Ray Lewis and his gang decided to gut a guy.
Yeah.
At the Cobalt Lounge that night before Super Bowl 34, Buckhead, I don't know if you ever went over there, but it was like Bourbon Street, but it was like a cleaner Bourbon Street. But there was a place called Lulu's, and they had the fishbowl, and they had the alligators in it.
Yeah. Oh, did they?
Yeah.
So this was not.
No.
Oddly.
No, I think a lot of people have done that before.
Yeah. So it was 1995.
Was the fight?
Was the fight. Yeah, I was trying to remember if it was 95 or 96.
Did somebody tell you that in the chat?
Nope,
or?
I just Googled it. Yeah, I was going to see if I could find the story. August 6, 1995.
Oh, we're coming up on 30-year anniversary
Almost
of the fight.
30-year anniversary.
Is Brothers still, or did somebody put a match to it?
I don't know. Brothers, the building is still there. I thought it closed for a minute.
Because, we had a Brothers Music Hall across from the old Brookwood Mall, and I think somebody put a match to that back in the day.
Alabama coach Gene Stallings suspended quarterback Freddie Kitchens the first 2 games of the season because Kitchens was arrested on charges of public drunkenness.
Okay, who were those 2 games against?
I'll have to go look at that, too. Stallings said he met with Kitchens on Saturday morning to discuss Kitchens' arrest early Friday at a bar in Jacksonville. All right,
okay.
Vanderbilt and Southern Miss.
Hey, Southern Miss was always tricky, right?
Yeah, they were.
Did Bama win both of those games?
Yeah, I'm going to think they did.
I
know they beat Vanderbilt.
You remember who the backup was?
Oddly, Southern Miss was probably the tougher game.
Yeah. It was the tougher game.
I don't know. Alabama had a bunch.
That was back when Jeff Bauer was coaching.
Yeah. That's when Southern Miss used to be a tough out. Like kids today, the youngs don't remember this, but Southern Miss was a tough out.
I remember my wife worked at the old Marriott on Highway 280, and Alabama's visitors would stay there, and so she would always get, what their rider was, what the coaches, would ask for in their contract. And Jeff Bauer was a absolute vodka guy.
Oh, really? He just wanted a little bit
of bottle, absolute vodka.
A little bit of the white liquor. Huh?
Let me numb the beat down.
That was a weird way to start this show, and I don't even know how we ended up on Freddie Kitchens.
I don't know. We went Jaws. We went Freddie Kitchens bar fights.
Yeah. Oh, so you're going to watch Jaws in the pool. So you've got. Are you just going to put it on your screen, or do you have an inflatable? You don't have a projector or anything like that.
No. I've just got I've got a big screen. Not a big screen. I've got a 60-inch TV out there by the pool.
Yeah.
And so I'll just throw it on Blu-ray because I am the only person that I know that has a DVD player.
Yeah.
Of course, you guys collect DVDs. I don't know if you have a player.
Can you play them, actually, Tyler?
So I just use my PlayStation to play all my 4Ks and Blu-rays on.
There you go.
But
See, Tyler's
a step
ahead.
I have gotten into collecting 4Ks and Blu-rays and the steel books if I can find them.
Okay.
It's just a nicer way to present them.
You got it. This is very nerdy. You need to come check out my collection.
All right.
I've let Brown borrow a couple.
I can't borrow them anymore because I don't have a DVD player.
Well, he would borrow them seriously for like a month, and he would never watch it.
Yeah, that's true. I'd bring it back. He said, "How'd you like it?" I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
I just thought I'd bring it back to you. You did. The one I did watch that I did not like, but you swore by this movie was The Game with Michael Douglas.
David Fincher.
Yeah.
So good with Sean Penn.
Yeah.
Just
it's not
so
my favorite
unique.
Fincher movie, but I like it.
Yeah, it was just really unique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think Michael Douglas just really underrated in a lot of things he did.
I like Michael Douglas. I've told you Shining Through is I think a badly underrated movie.
I never saw that.
Melanie Griffith.
Best character in Jaws is easy, right?
Robert Shaw?
Captain Quint.
Yeah.
But he stole the show.
The soliloquy is probably the most famous scene in the whole movie, right? On the USS Indianapolis?
I would think so, yeah.
Zach reminds us they won both those games and a lot of close games in his childhood. He grew up in the Stallings era. Everything was close.
Yeah, I mean, the defense was airtight, but the offense was challenged.
Yeah, to say the very least.
I mean, it's amazing that, and look, I mean, it was from Jackson Olin that David Palmer actually signed with Gene Stallings. Because, it came down to Bobby Bowden at Florida State. And look, he won a national championship. But I think David Palmer and those Florida State offenses would have won a Heisman.
He would have been incredible.
Yeah.
Florida State's offense was light years ahead of anything Gene Stallings was running.
I mean, imagine Charlie Ward and David Palmer on the field at the same time.
I know. The stuff they would have created for Palmer would have been amazing. He
Yeah,
might have won the Heisman there, and he was a finalist in Tuscaloosa.
I bet David Palmer, and this is not an exaggeration, and a lot of people under 30 probably have never even seen clips of this guy. I bet he could start for 80% of the teams today, 80% of the Power Four at quarterback.
Like in his prime.
No, in his prime.
Not right now.
Yeah.
In his prime, David Palmer could start at quarterback for how many percent?
80%.
That feels high.
4 out of 5.
He's so short. I mean, he was good, but he was so short.
What was he, 5'8"?
I think he played at 5'8", yeah.
Yeah.
5'8", 5'9".
Kyler Murray, 5'8", 5'9".
Kyler's a bit taller than that. They left him at 6 foot. I've stood next to Kyler Murray, and I don't think he's 6 foot.
Oh, Kyler Murray is not 6 feet.
They list him at 6 feet. And I don't know how he got through that on the combine.
Kyler Murray height, first thing that pops up, 5'10".
He is not 6 feet. I can promise you he's not 6 feet. I have stood next to him on the field at Hard Rock Stadium after the Alabama-Oklahoma game. He walked right past me and had to stop to do an interview, and I was standing next to him and looked over at him because he was about to be drafted, and I wanted to know how tall he was. And I'm like, I am taller than this guy, and I'm 6'1".
Second shortest quarterback to start in the NFL since 1987.
Behind
Doug Flutie, I think.
Doug Flutie, I guess.
Maybe.
Drew Brees was at 6, so he's not shorter.
I would say Flutie was 5'9".
Probably so.
Yeah, David Palmer, watching that dude, he could do absolutely everything.
He could.
And I remember maybe the most exciting play for David Palmer and how we go from Jaws to Fights at Brothers to David Palmer. Would you say the 2-point conversion against Tennessee at Legion Field to tie the game
was his best play?
No, his most exciting, maybe.
Oh, his most exciting.
Just because coming into the game, he took the snap, everybody knew it was going to David Palmer.
Oh, yeah. And they don't run anything spectacular, and they just run him around the head.
And I remember being at that game, and it felt like a tie was a win.
Oh, Alabama fans celebrated like they had just won the SEC. I mean, because they were dead and buried in that game. And they get a last-minute drive. What year was that? 93? 90.
I think it was 93.
92, yeah, 93. Yeah, because they were on a long winning streak, and it looked like it was going to end right there.
And then they ultimately lost to Arkansas.
Was Barker hurt?
No, I don't think so.
He was just ineffective that day?
Yeah, I think they just brought him in. I remember they did it against
Ole Miss
and Oxford.
Yeah, I know he did on the 2-point conversion, but why was Alabama so bad that day? I just wondered if Barker was hurt or if they were just bad.
I still would go back to this, and you would get like big-time matchups, and it would happen 4 or 5 times a year. You get these ties in college football. That still is one of the dumbest things we ever had, right?
Ties?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was
when you bust your ass all week, and you go in there, and as a fan, you pay all this money, and everybody walks out like – because I remember walking out of tie games, and people are just like looking –
I don't know how to act.
Yeah, why did we have all of this week leading up to this game and all of this hype? And
it completely screwed up national championship races, too. And then there was the one year where both teams in the championship race had a tie, right? Colorado –
and
had a tie, and Georgia Tech was it a tie or a loss? It was a tie to North Carolina, I think.
So what happens like in 1992 if Alabama and Miami tie? Is it a split national championship?
I have never thought about that. They didn't have...
did they ever talk about that going into the game?
I guess not.
If we have a tie tonight...
Because if you'll remember, now this was a decade before that, but the historic Nebraska-Miami game, Osborne could have settled for the tie, and he chose to go for 2 in the win.
That terrible play call.
A terrible play call. You're running the triple option. You decide to throw in the end zone. I mean, maybe you got a really good triple option play for, 3 yards. But, Osborne thought a tie was going to cost him the national championship, or he didn't know. So he's like, I'm going to go for the win and try to remove
you know what
all doubt.
cost him a national championship? A loss.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt. In a tie,
I did like him playing for
I agree completely. I agree completely. Play for the championship. But, yeah, I've never considered that question because, again, for the Youngs, it was highly irregular that you actually got the 2 teams that were going to win the national championship playing for a national championship.
I mean, that was just because of the bowl affiliations. That was 1 out of 10 times probably.
Yeah.
I remember Penn State, Miami did it in the Fiesta Bowl.
That's right, and that was a
Alabama, Miami in the Sugar Bowl.
That was when Penn State,
Miami. That was
1986. They had no conference affiliation, so they could go to any bowl they wanted. And the Fiesta Bowl, wisely, was like, this is our one moment in time, to steal a line from Whitney Houston. We'll buy this game. So they go to Penn State, Miami, and say, we'll give you guys a ton of money to come out here and play your national championship game.
Yeah, and for the Youngs, again, that used to be it was an irrelevant bowl until 1986.
Yeah.
The Fiesta Bowl.
And that's what put them on the map, and they're still on the map to this day. Wow, what a walk through collegiate history. All right.
Okay, that's our show.
That's it. Yeah, we've covered collegiate history. First day of summer. We do have a ton to get to. A lot of college football today, and I am going to play an either-or with Lance that Josh Pate helped me come up with.
Okay.
An either-or. You've got.
He's been on our screen there that nobody can see for
5. I know.
Over a day.
Well, we've got him talking about the playoff again if we want to go back to that. It's a cut-down version of his playoff thoughts. We may get to that. First, we'll get to Twin Peaks. Tell us about our friends there at Twin Peaks.
Okay, so maybe you were there for Game 6. Oklahoma City just basically shatting on their shoes last night. But, hey, great place to watch. College World Series, a little Coastal Carolina, LSU this weekend. Don't forget about those 29-degree drafts. They are absolutely awesome. Ours are sitting at 36 on our kegerator here in studio, but no one does happy hour like our friends at Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, they've got everything from the tequila cocktails, an extensive bourbon category, to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over the ice balls, local craft beers, handcrafted whiskey cocktails, round out an adventurous drink menu second to none. And don't forget, again, about those 29-degree drafts served in 3D. Twin Peaks girls running all over the place. Stop in and see them today.
And don't forget our friend Greg from Pell City as well, Storm Restoration Roofing. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's rained a time or two throughout the Deep South here, and perhaps that rain has shown you had a leak you didn't know about. You need somebody up on that roof finding the cause of the leak and getting it fixed. It may be storm damage, and your insurance may get involved and help you out on paying for that. That's what Greg specializes in. StormRestorationRoofing.com is his website, StormRestorationRoofing.com. Call Greg from Pell City when you need work on your roof, 205-542-3531. Whether storm or just time for a new roof, or you don't even know, Greg will climb up there for that free evaluation and tell you what you need. 205-542-3531. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, or 205-542-3531. You reference it. Indiana forces a Game 7, 108-91. Not almost everyone. You get in trouble when you say things like that. But, boy, a popular thought was this would be the old gentleman's sweep. Oak City takes the first two. Indiana grabs one back in Indianapolis, and then Oak City closes this thing out. Far from that. You have got to give a ton of respect to this Pacers team. They will not go away.
Yeah, look, I give them a lot of respect, but 21 turnovers from Oklahoma City, and is the moment too big for the youngest team in the NBA? You know, I thought this thing was going to be non-competitive, and then we kind of had the roadmap because I talked about it after Game 3 or Game 2, I don't even remember. But Indiana doesn't lose back-to-backs. They haven't lost back-to-backs since March. Oklahoma City is 10-2 in back-to-backs this year, coming off the loss. So, you know, if this thing plays out, Oklahoma City going back to Oklahoma City, massive favorite in Game 7. They should be able to hoist the Larry O'Brien on Sunday night. But I don't know, man. Rick Carlisle is I'm freaking good.
I am not going to discount this.
It was so embarrassing last night. By the way, we did have Oak City minus the 6 on the road.
So
I thought this thing was over. To be down 30 going into the fourth and you pull all of your starters, that is embarrassing. And I just wonder how they respond for Game 7.
I mean, they were in the huddle. You heard SGA, and I don't know what time was. I don't know which timeout this was in. They showed it a little bit later. But SGA in the huddle during the game, during the fourth quarter. Now, the game was over. There's no doubt. But he's in the huddle saying, all right, one game for it all Sunday night. Now let's go. I mean, he was already firing his team up for Game 7. I'm like, this is wild. There's still time on the clock. I know you're not going to come back, but it is. They had to wave the white flag in an NBA Finals game.
Yeah, this would be the biggest upset in the NBA Finals in the last 25 years. I mean, they were a massive favorite going into Game 6. They're still a pretty big favorite going into Game 7. I just wonder how they're going to respond. To me, Indiana has already had an A+++ season.
No doubt.
They are playing with house money. All of the pressure is on the Thunder. I tell you what this would do. It would solidify Rick Carlisle is one of the greatest coaches in NBA history.
I mean, the guy's got an underrated resume, does he not? And he just pretty much wins everywhere he is.
Everywhere he is.
Yeah.
I mean, just to refresh, I guess the last championship he won was with the Mavericks. NBA Coach of the Year 2002, NBA Champion 2011.
So this would be his second championship if you can find a way to get it.
It would be his second championship, two different teams, which is really impressive. And like, I don't think there's been a lot of expectations for his teams, you know?
Yep. Pritch Law says there have been a ton of blowouts in the playoffs. There have been. I don't know that this has been a particularly good NBA Finals. I don't know if I will call it good.
I wouldn't either.
It's been compelling because of what the Pacers have done when everybody thought the Thunder were just going to walk through this thing. But I don't know that it's been a particularly good Finals.
You know, I would say that Game 1 was incredible.
Well, you had the upset.
Yeah, you had the upset.
Road upset, yeah.
Game 2 was a 16-point game. Game 3 was a 9-point game. Game 4 was a 7-point game. Game 5 was an 11-point game. Last night was a 17-point game.
Yeah, that doesn't even represent what that game was. I mean, that was a 25-point game.
I'm just going to assume more than likely I'll be, when I handicap this game, it probably will tell me Thunder. But I'd love to see a one-possession game.
Yeah. Thunder will be favored by what in this game?
10.5.
In a Game 7.
Yeah.
That's a pretty high line for a Game 7.
Let me check. I would say
what
10.5.
What were they last night?
They were 6.
They were 6 on the road last night. So 10.5.
I would think it's 10.5.
In Game 7.
It is 8.5. So they brought it down a little bit.
A little bit?
I think there were a lot of people out there taking the Pacers that felt like they were stealing money, so I think the shops have probably had to bring this number back to earth a little bit.
So right now, your gut tells you Thunder. It's not your official play, but your gut would tell you Thunder.
I mean, the Thunder are a much better team. They played tight last night.
They did. It was a very weird performance by them. Indiana won.
This shows you, as good as SGA is, there's not a Jordan, there's not a Kobe. You don't mess around. You don't dick around and let a series extend out, even if you're going back to your place for a Game 7.
Yeah, and maybe, he's still a young player. Maybe he'll get that mentality. But you're right, a Kobe, a Jordan, guys like that would never have let this get to 7 games because once you let it get to 7 games.
The urgency, that second quarter was absolutely embarrassing. And look, you're down 22 at half, but we've seen a lot of 20-point comebacks in this postseason. For them to not even come out and respond, I don't think they scored a basket until 5 minutes into the second half.
That was an amazing start to the second half there. And he had to burn through timeouts. Like he had used 2 timeouts
They look
5 minutes in. They did. In a Game 6 in an NBA Finals, that is hard to believe.
And that's going to be the takeaway from this postseason. Rick Carlisle and this Oklahoma City Thunder, how they blew this.
Yeah.
Because I thought coming into the postseason, best team, I thought they would win this all. Now it's a one-game situation, and I still think they're going to win this. 68 regular season wins. And they've been dominant at times in this postseason, but all of the pressure is on them now.
Sunday night, Game 7, 7 o'clock. You've had 7:30 start time. Sunday night is 7 o'clock ABC for a Game 7. There are a lot of people, and some people are saying this in the chat, I'll watch it because it's a Game 7. I haven't really been invested in the NBA Finals.
I think it's the 5th Game 7 in the last 35 years. You don't get Game 7s in the NBA Finals. Last one we had, believe it or not, 2016, where Draymond Green cost the Warriors a championship by getting suspended in Game 5.
Yeah, because that was because of culmination of technicals in the postseason, right?
A culmination of
the full season?
Yeah, full season.
Was it 21? Wasn't that the number?
I thought it's 17.
17?
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, it's a lot when you're talking about that many technicals.
And when you're playing with fire and you're up to that limit, you got to know your limitations. And obviously, he gets suspended for Game 5. They win Game 5. That was an incredible series.
Yeah. Daniel says the last Game 7 we had was one of the best Game 7s ever. Can you remember? I don't really remember the details of it.
It was 2016.
Well, I know, but I don't remember the details of the game.
I remember I was at the beach watching the game.
Okay.
I just remember LeBron James being incredible. I can find that box score.
You don't have to. Just saying that in his memory, that's the best one we've had.
But I do wonder, there's some people out there that the conspiracy theorist that the NBA with these two small markets, 2 of the 8 smallest markets in the NBA, they needed this thing to go 7 games. The only thing I would say, if you're going to rig going to 7 games, you don't have all these blowouts.
Well, if you're going to rig this, you're going to rig better teams in the finals. I mean, if you're just going to rig things, you rig better teams. You rig a New York, what would have been a good final with the Knicks? You'd have had them in the finals, right? I mean, if you're going to rig things, you're going to rig the Knicks in the finals, not the Pacers.
Yeah, if you ever get a Knicks-Lakers finals,
you'll know it's rigged.
Well, I mean, you just imagine what the rating. You wouldn't have to.
Yeah. Zach says in his memory, Lance, that Game 7 was also the Game of Thrones season finale night. Do you remember it that way?
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
No, it might have been for that season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Final season episode. My apologies. Yeah, he did not say series. He said season. So which one did you watch?
Well, I mean, I'm sure that...
you watched Game 7 and went back and watched...
Yeah. You watch it on demand.
Yeah.
93-89 was Game 7. It's a low-scoring...
That is a low-scoring NBA game.
Game 7. Did LeBron have a triple-double?
Well, pretty good night if he did in a Game 7.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Game 7, LeBron had 27 points, 11 assists, and I'm trying to see how many rebounds. Kevin Love, 14. Draymond tried his best, though. I'll tell you, in Game 7, 32, 15, and 9 for Draymond.
He was making up for it, right?
Yeah,
So that's a pretty good night. Shout out to RTD4. He's watching the show on YouTube right now, and he says, I'm starting day 3 at Orange Beach. I'm in 46 beers and 6 or so bushwhackers.
Okay, my man.
That's a lot.
He's on a pitch count. He's got to be in his 20s.
I don't know. Well,
Good for him.
I would say no, because he says, I've learned that I'm as good as I once was. LOL. That ain't 20s. When you start saying stuff like that, you're not in your 20s.
You know, the beach does something. It's kind of like the casino with the oxygen pumped in.
Yeah.
There's something about, I don't know anybody that's a good day drinker and night drinker.
Okay.
But when you're at the beach, you can somehow put that thing together.
I got you.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. That always helps us. And please make sure you've subscribed to our YouTube channel. Set your alerts so you know when we're live. And all those of you that do or do not catch us on podcast, either way, even if you don't, if you could set your automatic downloads, that helps us a ton too. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Google Podcast. And by the way, we're aware that the podcasts aren't uploading on the app. I apologize for those of you that get your podcast that way. We changed platforms. Tyler is working his tail off. There's just a ton of steps you got to go through. Tyler, you've been spinning plates and jumping through hoops on this, but we're almost there, right?
Should be.
Okay.
I think we've figured out some of the issues, and we're looking to even make some improvements
That's right.
onto the app.
That's one of the reasons we changed, is Tyler had dug into it, and he's like, this is actually a better setup for our audience, but we're going to have to go through some growing pains to get there.
Yes.
So perhaps we should have warned everyone, and this is on me, of the growing pains to get there, but we're going through those growing pains. We're going to get there.
We'll get there.
Yep.
Just a few late nights in the lab first.
Yeah, late nights in the lab. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Google Podcast. It helps us tremendously when you like, follow, subscribe, but turn on your automatic downloads. Make sure they download every single day. Your automatic downloads, we greatly appreciate that. Before we go to break, I'm going to tell you on the other side, this is a story that is going to appeal to Lance because it's gambling related and nobody knows if it's true that I'm aware of, but it is a rumor that has surfaced, and I mean, if so, it's pretty remarkable. I will tell you that. And the NFL player it involves. It's not an NFL player gambling.
Okay.
But it involves an NFL player that you very much like.
I'm all in.
And we'll tell you if this is true. This is one of the great bets of all time. But as we go to break, a reminder of Urology Centers of Alabama. Men and women, your urological health is of utmost importance, and Urology Centers of Alabama is here to help you stay on top of that. UCA, UrologyCentersAlabama.com. From kidney stones to your just all your urological tract, all those things, prostate health, make sure you stay on top of it. Find a location nearest you, Urology Centers of Alabama, 930-0920. That's 930-0920, 205 area code. Or UrologyCentersAlabama.com. That's UrologyCentersAlabama.com. Stay on top of that with our friends at UCA. Did one NFL player's dad cash in on his son in a pretty remarkable way? We will discuss that next on the next round.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers. You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming Alabama basketball painting, Buzzer Beater. Closing out the regular season, Alabama and Auburn faced off in a top 10 matchup. With less than 1 second remaining in overtime and the game tied at 91, Mark Sears launched a 15-foot floater that sealed the Tide's victory. Visit DanielMooreArt.com and see the artist's preliminary sketch of this historic Bama win. And take advantage of special pre-production pricing for Buzzer Beater.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Auburn, join us over on thebarnauburn.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at Roback.com.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama-born, Alabama-raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
We continue on the next round. Dunaway back with us on Monday. Welcome to summer, first day of summer. We're all excited about that. Lance going to be out by the pool if it doesn't rain. I mean, again, yesterday I'm playing golf, and like the radar shows no rain. I'm like, all right, we've hit it, man. We got a little window right here. We get some golf in, and it starts to rain. And I'm like, man, there literally is nothing on the radar. It's this weather has been just so bizarre, and it didn't rain long.
But I don't think it's any. You know, I was doing a hit with our buddies Chip and Zay in Austin, and I was telling them because I was actually at the dog park when I was doing the hit, and they were like, they're in a drought.
Boy,
I was like, we'll switch.
Yeah, I
don't want a drought.
I could use a little right now.
I like, in the summer, I like 2 or 3 days of really good sunshine, and they give me that afternoon shower for about an hour.
Yep.
Keep everything a little green. Let's not scorch our lawn.
That's right, yeah.
But, I've never seen anything like it. I think people think we're sensationalizing this, but
no.
It's been every day
like
for
it.
2 months.
Yep.
Or maybe even 3 months now.
It was crazy yesterday. Scott just told me in the break that the new our friends at Coca-Cola, congrats to our friends at Coca-Cola. You always see us with the Coca-Cola products. The Coke cooler right here behind me, if you're watching us, full of great Coca-Cola products. Powerade, Dasani, Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, Coke Zero, all those things. But our friends at Coca-Cola, they've got the amphitheater, the Coca-Cola amphitheater.
I'll be there Wednesday night.
That is downtown. Lance is going to be there Wednesday night.
Unless it's raining.
So it's a roll of the dice right now. I think you're going to be okay, though. Wednesday night is Def Leppard?
Def Leppard, and I didn't even realize Bret Michaels is opening up for Def Leppard.
Wait a minute. Bret Michaels is solo?
Yeah, I guess so.
What does he sing?
I think he sings Poison songs.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that would be the only thing he would have, right?
If anybody can survive without their band, it's Bret Michaels without Poison.
I would guess so.
I've got a high school buddy of mine that idolizes, and this is probably the wrong person to idolize in life, but Bret Michaels. And the only reason I knew this, he reached out, hey, man, can you hook me up with a couple of tickets for Wednesday night?
So he wants to see Bret Michaels more than Def Leppard.
And I was like, so you're going to the Def Leppard show? And he was like,
nope.
No, Bret Michaels. And I was like, damn, I didn't even know Bret Michaels was opening for Def Leppard. Yep. I've seen Poison probably too many times. Haven't seen Def Leppard enough. If you have not seen Def Leppard and you're a fan of their music, they are incredible live.
So Def Leppard live is a great concert.
They're great. And they're still, they all quit partying. I mean, they were partying so hard. The guitarist Steve, oh my God, what was his name? Steve Gaines. He died from, alcohol poisoning. But those guys have really, they're coming up on 70 now.
God, that's amazing. Def Leppard is 70. But that makes sense because they're huge when I was in high school.
But Joe Elliott is still a great front man. Rick Allen with the one arm. The show he puts on, he crushes.
Yep.
Are you a fan at all?
Oh, I like Def Leppard.
You ought to go.
Yeah, I may try. I don't know what we got Wednesday night or Thursday.
Well, you got trivia.
Oh, I got trivia. I can't go. I got to fill in for you on trivia.
I already tapped out.
I know. But Scott just told me in the break who the first act ever at the Coca-Cola Amphitheater will be tomorrow night. Or is it Sunday night, Scott?
Sunday night.
Sunday night.
That is comedian Matt Rife.
Matt Rife is the first show ever there.
I was going Pitbull. Isn't Pitbull coming?
Mr. Worldwide?
Mr. Worldwide. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen the schedule.
I think Pitbull is either coming to the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater or the Coca-Cola.
Or the new one?
Yeah, I can't wait to see the new amphitheater, though.
Yeah,
We're
I hear
some
it's really, really
stuff
cool
with our city, man.
I know. I hear
Got a couple of pictures here.
Oh, there you go. Scott's got photos. Matt Rife will open up. Scott, do you know if it's sold out? I would guess so.
I'm not sure.
I've never heard of this guy.
You never heard of Matt Rife?
Nope.
I would say, boy, I'm about to wade into some waters I'm not equipped to discuss. I think Theo Vaughn is probably the biggest comedian going. Scott, am I right about that? But Matt Rife is right up there.
He's pretty up there. He's one of my wife's favorites.
Yeah, Nate Bargatze, Matt Rife. They're different genres here, but Nate Bargatze, they're all comedians. Nate Bargatze, Matt Rife, Theo Vaughn.
So Bargatze's clean.
Yeah, Bargatze's very clean.
Theo Vaughn, I saw him in Tuscaloosa, is not clean.
Not clean at all. Matt Rife is not clean.
Yeah,
no.
Matt Rife is not clean.
No, if you were going to ask next, no,
okay,
he's not clean.
That's where I was going.
Yeah, it's not clean.
Get-in price for the Matt Rife show is $54.
Okay.
So
I'm looking.
Tickets.
Def Leppard, they've got a really nice website, by the way. Boy, I thought they were still like living large, but here's going into Birmingham. So Birmingham's this Wednesday.
Okay.
Tomorrow night, they are in Thackerville, Oklahoma.
So this is Def Leppard's road to Birmingham, Thackerville, Oklahoma.
At the WinStar World Casino and Resort.
Okay, so they're doing a casino show.
Then they're in Rogers, Arkansas at the Walmart Amp. Is that is the Walmart amphitheater massive?
I bet it's super nice.
Okay.
I mean, it's in the backyard of actual Walmart in Rogers, Arkansas.
They go from Birmingham to Atlantic City, and then they go to Bangor, Maine.
Bangor, Maine?
And then they're in
Birmingham?
Cassville, Connecticut. Oh, that's the Mohegan Sun.
So they go Arkansas to Maine to Connecticut to Birmingham? Is that what you said?
Oklahoma, Arkansas, Birmingham. New Jersey, Maine, Connecticut, and then their Canadian tour begins.
Is that the Walmart Amphitheater in Rogers, Arkansas, Tyler?
Yes, it is.
Damn, I'm all in.
Look at that place. How nice does that look?
They got some money.
Well, yeah. Man, that is super nice.
I had to meet somebody in a strip mall at a bar yesterday. It sounds very mysterious. It wasn't.
Really does. Did y'all pass each other and hand off a shipment?
But I took the wrong turn, and so when I turned back in, it was through a Walmart parking lot. My God. And it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, completely packed out.
Yeah. Well,
that's almost got a little bit of the old Lakewood kind of look to it.
Yeah, I love the Lakewood Amphitheater back in the day. I'm a big amphitheater fan.
Yeah, boy, that one is super nice right there, though, that Arkansas one.
But, you know.
I mean,
do you think the concession stand has a self-checkout?
They got an old guy standing there greeting you as you walk up.
The thing that doesn't go with the amphitheater is inclement weather.
Yeah.
I think I told the story about the Steve Miller Band. Was never a fan, but I was going to see them and decided to tap out because the weather was so bad. And not one, not two, but 3 people were struck at the old Oak Mountain Amphitheater. Struck by lightning.
I remember that, yeah. Brett, who's seen all of America, says the Rogers Amphitheater is huge. I bet it is.
It looks big.
Well, I've never been to that Northwest Arkansas area, but I hear it is super nice with all the influx of money, industry and money they've had up there.
You know what's not? Little Rock.
I've been through Little Rock. Not a fan.
I've spent way too much time in Little Rock.
Have you?
Yeah, I had a buddy, Sly Dog.
Yeah.
We graduated college, and his first job was there, and he always called it escaping Little Rock.
Yeah.
That was his whole plan.
Colin
Finally
Ray
got out of there.
Colin Ray, his life turned around when he got to
I
Little
like
Rock.
that song.
I do too.
Yeah.
I remember us playing it back in the radio days. He's selling VCRs at a Walmart.
Yep.
At a Walmart in Little Rock.
What is Colin Ray doing now? Is he still breathing?
I think Colin Ray is. I think he's still with us. Not certain. Can't 100% confirm
Full
that.
circle. He's opening for Def Leppard tomorrow night at the Rogers Center.
Yeah, you would think he could play any night he wants at the Rogers Amphitheater. All right, I'm going to give you our Bojangles Tender Moment of the day. I don't know. I'm just going to say up front, I don't know if this is true or not.
Are we going to make up our tender moments now?
It's listed as a rumor, Lance, a rumor, but I think it is certainly a wild rumor, but I think it's one you will like. From sweet to heat, Bojangles has 7 sauces that will definitely add a little extra flavor to every bite. Nothing pairs better with sauces than hand-breaded tenders. So if you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard. You want some tang, try barbecue. You want some heat, try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. If you're craving smooth or creamy, the house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, classic Bo sauce are ready and waiting for you. So head to Bojangles today. Order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's Bo time. ML Football, and I cannot verify that everything they report is true. I'm not trying to do that, but ML Football reports a lot of NFL stuff. And they even say that this is a rumor. But they say, wild rumor, Joe Burrow's father allegedly placed a $2,000 bet on his son to win the Heisman Trophy during his time at LSU. Now, as you look back on that, you're like, okay, that's a pretty good bet. Remember how good he was? It was not a good bet when he started at LSU.
Well, I would have told his old man to wipe his ass with that ticket.
That ticket was 200-1, according to this rumor, which would mean Joe Burrow's old man made $400,000 on his son winning the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, I don't believe this.
You don't believe this story?
I don't. No.
What is unbelievable about it?
Well,
$2,000 is a.
Well, that's a big.
That's a big bet.
Well, it's one thing if Game 7 you put $2,000 on either side minus the 8.5 or plus the 8.5, but to take a flyer on a 200-1 very average quarterback going into his final year at LSU to win the national championship with Ed Orgeron as your head coach. I mean, and the thing that really jumps out at me is Joe Burrow's old man is a football coach. How many football coaches do you really? Well, not even that, but I mean, how many are really gonna bet futures and bet on their son to win the Heisman Trophy? It sounds sensationalized, but maybe it's true.
Do you remember what he would have been going into the year in Heisman odds? Was it 200-1?
No, I don't. Well,
it might have been that first year at LSU when he was playing, and he was playing really, really average football.
Maybe. I remember when the Rams, back to Super Bowl 34, beat the Titans, and going into that season, they were 500-1, and that cut out the long shots in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like the furthest you can get somebody, or the longest you can get somebody is 300-1 probably now.
Right.
I wouldn't even think Burrow would have been listed as, on the Heisman odds. He would have been the field back then, but I mean, maybe.
I mean, I think, I don't know if we'll ever see anything like Burrow again, to go from 1 year to be, I guess we would call him good.
Yeah.
In 1 year at LSU, I'll pull up his numbers.
I mean, it was one of the more interesting debates that went Dunaway's way back in the day.
Yeah, well, he nailed this one.
When you and I were like, he's an average quarterback, and Dunaway's like, oh, man, he's better than average. Now, Dunaway never said.
Even Jim will tell you, I never saw that coming, but I did think he was better than average. So in 2018, Joe Burrow was, this is going to blow you away, 7th in the conference in passing. And here are the quarterbacks. Well, let me give you his numbers real quick. 57% completion percentage, very middle of the road. 2,894 yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I mean, just numbers.
Yeah.
Here are the quarterbacks.
That would be. You know what those numbers were? Those were. Oh my gosh! Why is the name escaping me?
Peyton Thorne?
No, the kid from Tennessee last year.
Oh, Nico Iamaleava, yeah.
Yeah, those are his numbers.
Yeah, you're right. He was Nico. The quarterbacks that were in front of him, Jordan Ta'amu, now in the spring football leagues.
Just won a championship. He's got a ring, right?
Yeah, Drew Lock. Is he still on a roster anywhere, Drew Lock?
He is, yeah.
Tua Tagovailoa, Dolphin starter. At least you got, NFL starter there. Jake Bentley, South Carolina. You remember Jake Bentley, South Carolina?
Oh, yeah.
Lance, you ready for this one? Kyle Shermer, Vanderbilt, had a better statistical season than Joe Burrow did.
Yeah, Joe Burrow was 200-1.
Kellen Mond, Texas A&M. Kellen Mond won a ton of games at Texas A&M. He had a better season.
Yeah, Kellen Mond was probably, well, he was. He was Jimbo Fisher's best quarterback.
Jarrett Stidham and Joe Burrow had the same season. Jarrett Stidham, Auburn quarterback, took some snaps in the NFL. So he goes from that to 2019 playing maybe the best year we've ever seen in the SEC. 76 completion percentage, 76%. So his completion percentage, Burrow, went up almost 20 percentage points. I don't know how you do that year to year. 20
this is why I said
points.
Dunaway always stumbled into this.
5,671 yards. He threw for almost 3,000 more yards. 60 touchdowns. He threw for 44 more touchdowns and 6 interceptions. I mean, it is – I don't know that we will ever see – year to year, a guy improved that much.
Yeah,
again.
Who did they open with? Because it's amazing how his odds, because I've got the Heisman odds tracker.
Yeah.
And this is from Westgate.
Georgia Southern.
The Superbook. Okay, so he went from 200-1 in the opener, and then he was 25-1.
Holy crap, after Georgia Southern?
Yeah, that's what it says here.
5 touchdowns, no picks. Shout out EG, might have been at the game. Georgia Southern got drilled. 55-3.
EG 2019. Yes, she might have been.
Might have been at the game.
Might have been for
Tiger Stadium.
September 3rd, 25-1, then 9-2 on September 16th. Was that after the Texas game?
That was after Texas and Northwestern State. They had played both those.
And then,
but the Texas game, he was. You remember that night, right?
Oh yeah.
31-39, 471, 4 touchdowns and a pick. Led the game-winning drive in Austin. That was a fantastic game,
By
45-38.
October 14th, 3-1. October 21st, even money. And then he ended up being minus 1,000 going into the final weekend.
Yeah, we may never see anything like this again.
I don't think so.
I don't even know.
The equivalent would be like this year if John Mateer or not John Mateer. John Mateer had a great season.
Had a better year than that.
If Jackson Arnold did this.
Well, Jackson Arnold's numbers were probably worse. I mean, he was 62%. That was better, but he only threw for 1,400 yards last year. Jackson Arnold did. Even Burrow had thrown for 2,800 yards, so he had double the yardage.
I trust Hugh Freeze more than I do Ed Orgeron.
I'll tell you whose numbers are a lot like his. I just mentioned him a moment ago, was Peyton Thorne. I mean, this would be the equivalent of Peyton Thorne playing another year at Auburn and having the Joe Burrow season. That's statistically how different that was. Lance mentioned the lock earlier. Heupel Services brings you the lock. He'll have one on Game 7 of the NBA Finals coming up over the weekend.
Another winning night. Major League Baseball on fire there. Unfortunately, we had the loser Game 6, NBA Finals, but we come back, more winners. Major League Baseball. Have a little College World Series for you tomorrow. Jump on board, win with us. Free play every single day at lanceslock.com. It was always brought to you by our friends at Heupel Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trust since 1954 for all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating. Any of these issues arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chan, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090 or hempillservices.com.
So it seems like every day we've got a story. We don't do them all, but this one has a little notoriety to it. But we got a story, it seems, every day of somebody talking about Arch Manning and what they expect out of Arch Manning. This guy, the hype around him is crazy. Texas is a legitimate national championship contender. They're probably the favorite if Manning plays well. But, man, the hype around this guy. We see something on Arch Manning almost every day. Again, we don't necessarily do it on the show every day, but every day there's something out there on Arch.
Oh, every day. And, we were previewing Michigan in our 40 and 40 yesterday. And one of the things I brought up, Bryce Underwood with this $10 million price tag, whatever the number it was extraordinary. But I think there would be so much more talk about Underwood and so much more pressure if it wasn't for Arch Manning. Right. Arch Manning is at the level. I think it surpasses Tim Tebow coming back for his sophomore year. I think it is right up there with LeBron James coming into the NBA. I think that's the type of hype we're getting right now. And, talking to Chip and Zay in Austin yesterday, I told them, here's what's going to happen October 11th. You're going to have an undefeated rolling into Dallas. It's going to be Oklahoma. And you're going to have a 3-2. And Chip was like, are you drunk? Are you on drugs?
Yeah. I wondered how that went over in Austin when you threw out your 3-2 prediction that you used with Peyton the other day.
Yeah, they did not. They thought I was joking. And I'm being somewhat serious. I think it plays out like this. I think Texas is going to lose to Ohio State.
Yep.
I think Oklahoma is going to win the first 5 games of their season. They're going to be a narrow favorite against Michigan at home. The same with Auburn. I think they're going to be 5-0. And I think Florida is going to be coming off a loss to LSU in Baton Rouge. And I think it's going to be one of the best atmospheres you're going to get in college football this year. And I think Florida is going to take down Texas.
So when notable people speak on Arch, though, I do think it's worth discussing. I don't know if you think his Uncle Peyton is notable, but his Uncle Peyton has now weighed in.
Yeah. Do you like his new commercial where he's got jorts on? Have you seen that one?
Which one is that?
He's in the yard talking to 2 celebrities. Forrester, Tyler, help me out. I just saw it this past week. New Peyton Manning commercial.
He's in
a
jorts
million
talking
of them.
to 2 celebrities. You're not talking about the Bud Light one that aired during the Super Bowl, are you?
It's Bud Light with
Post Malone and Shane Gillis?
Yeah, and he's got the
that aired
on.
the Super Bowl. Yeah. You just now saw it.
I don't watch Super Bowl commercials.
Super Bowl commercials are good. No, that's a fantastic commercial. I love that commercial.
Yeah, but he's got long jorts on.
He does have long jorts on. Yeah, that's I stumbled across the Super Bowl commercials before they came out, and that one made me laugh out loud. That was a very well done commercial. All right. Because Shane Gillis has got the boat in his yard.
Yeah,
and he's like, the HOA's already on my butt about the boat. Yeah. Here's what Peyton Manning tells the Sporting News.
That's three rough-looking characters, by the way.
Post Malone, Shane Gillis, and Peyton Manning.
Yes.
I think of all of them, Peyton doesn't look comfortable in the jorts. But Post Malone and Shane Gillis look very comfortable sitting there in jorts.
And Shane Gillis with those. I haven't seen the new season of Tires. I thought season 1 was okay. But, it pops up on Netflix all the time when I go to Netflix. And he's got the old Oakley blades on.
Shane Gillis does? Yeah.
They fit him perfectly. Yeah, there it is.
I mean, I think if you look at these three.
I feel confident we will never see one of these three on the People magazine cover with the title at the bottom, Sexiest Man Alive.
I think Shane Gillis, I'm going to take it back. I think Shane Gillis, Tyler, looks the most comfortable in the jorts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think he owns just like several pairs of jorts.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, I'll give Post Malone credit for being able to change the look. The tats are always going to be there. But it wasn't long ago we were watching New Year's Eve because I remember Jace getting so upset because Post Malone rolled out in a purple rhinestone cowboy head-to-toe outfit.
Wow.
And he was
bold.
like, Jace like, man shouldn't wear that. I was like, I think Post Malone can get away with anything he wants. But going from that to that.
I mean, the stories we got from Post Malone at the Floribama changed him for me.
Oh, yeah. Well,
in a very good way if you haven't heard the stories.
I remember seeing something. It was one of these Tonight shows, and it was a clip that Leighton was showing me down at the beach years ago, and he was going to Olive Garden.
Post
it might have been
Malone
with the Jimmy Fallon guy I don't like. Yeah, but he was great in that.
Yeah.
So I always thought, man, he seems like a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, the stories at Floribama, he was the best, man. Took care of the staff down there in a big way.
Yeah.
Was very nice to everyone.
Yeah.
That changed Post Malone for me.
I think it was a $10,000 tip.
$10,000 tip for the bar staff.
That's a big-ass tip.
That is a big tip for a group of people. So, speaking of that, here's what Peyton Manning, Uncle Peyton, says about Arch.
By the way, I think if women broke this down, they might have Peyton number 3.
Wow. That's not saying much for Peyton. Ask why he was so patient at Texas. Here's what Peyton Manning said. It's more than just the football program. You go to school there. You like the head coach who also calls the play, and that creates great community. To me, the Kyle Shanahans, the Sean McVays, when the head coach is calling the plays, the quarterback is going to thrive in the same system every single year.
Boy, I can't believe Kevin O'Connell got no mention.
He did not. Peyton is not necessarily comparing Sark to Sean McVay there, but what he's saying, and this does make sense, is like if your head coach is the one calling the plays, the system's never going to change for you.
Right.
Good point.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, and this is fact. I mean, you look at Shanahan, Mr. Irrelevant just got a $250 million deal. You know, Sean McVay, John Walford was winning playoff games.
Yeah.
Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl when he wasn't that good. If you get, and there's only a few of them, Andy Reid's one of those guys.
Yep.
Kevin O'Connell's one of those guys. There's just not a lot. And Sarkiasian's interesting because he is a great play caller. And I still will never get over the first and goal against Ohio State.
I know, it's funny. He's a great play caller. What do you do on first and goal with Ohio State? Well, he never ran the ball.
And to me, though, and I brought this up, and tell me if you agree with this, I think for Sark, that could be his Kirby Smart fake punt moment.
Kirby finally got over that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It stuck with him until he won a championship. And for Sark, I think that moment will stick with him until he wins a championship.
I like that comparison there. Peyton goes on to say the fact that this will be Arch's third year in that system, he'll have great knowledge of the system. Still hasn't had on-field game reps, as I'm sure he would have liked, but those will come this year. There will be things for him to learn, but I'm proud for him, his commitment, and I'm looking forward to watching him play. That's Peyton Manning in the Sporting News. When you're Uncle Peyton and you're as famous as he is, that's probably about the best way to answer the question and not put a ton of pressure on your nephew. I mean, I think Peyton probably handled that pretty well.
Speaking of pressure, and look, and I know these guys, they love their nephew. How often or how prevalent do you think they'll be at Texas games this year?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Both Peyton and Eli.
Yeah, that's a good question. They do the Monday night thing, obviously, but that's not until Monday night, so you'd have time to go.
But let me ask you this. If you're Peyton and or Eli, and was it September 3rd in the Horseshoe, Texas, Ohio State?
I'm there.
I think I stay away because I don't want to draw any attention away from Arch.
Right. Maybe so. Well, I'd hate to miss that game, though. What a fun game.
Well, you have a party at home, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's on TV, but I would like to think Archie's probably going to have, well, I don't know. I bet it's hard to get a suite at the Horseshoe. They're probably sold out.
You know what? I bet the Mannings could get one.
I bet the Mannings could figure it out. But if you had a suite, like I always think of, I don't know why this stuck with me. And you may not even remember this moment.
I love going to games in suites when I don't really care about the game.
That's right, and I don't have to pay for the suite.
Yeah,
like
if you care about a game and you ever get invited to a suite, don't go.
Yeah, I mean, that is the thing. Sitting in suites is nice. Now, there are different kinds.
First world problem?
Yeah, it is. There are different kinds.
Too much food, too much drink.
Some of them are enclosed, and they've got, like Auburn's got these, where they're enclosed. It's air-conditioned and enclosed. but they've got the little slats up top that let the noise in. You still never feel like you're at the game.
No.
It's just you're still talking and passing drinks and all that. But then you got some where it's open air and you feel a little bit more like you're at the game.
It's a little different. I still, it's really difficult because what normally happens in these situations, and not that I get invited to a lot of suites, back in the day maybe, but you're meeting all these different people.
Yeah, that's right.
And so you're having conversations nonstop, so it's really difficult.
Yeah. And if you're a super fan, there aren't a ton of super fans sometimes in there. So if you're like living and dying on every play, you're going to stand out.
Oh yeah, and that's and it seems like people get upset when people are cheering in the suite, much like the press box.
Yeah.
So if you're a super fan, people are going to think you're a weirdo if you're cheering for your team.
Yeah. Soprano San says the Manning brothers will definitely be at the Red River. Well, I mean, I wouldn't miss that.
No, I think you ease into it.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know. I think it's 50-50. I think they need to put a number on this in Vegas.
Oh, whether they're at the...
Yeah, will either Eli or Peyton or both be at the opener.
So that is what Uncle Peyton says about his famous nephew, Arch, and it's just yet another day where there is more talk about the incoming Texas quarterback. All right, let's get to the viewing menu. Tyler will tell us what he's watching over the weekend. He watched a movie last night. He'll tell us where you can see his review. I've heard a snippet of his review. Positive is all I'll say. It is brought to you each day by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
205-969-8100. That is the number I called. Look, if you've been procrastinating, eyes obviously so important. The sight out there, I wasn't seeing life in its true form. I was wearing the contacts, did it for about a decade. I make the comparison. Now, a lot of our listeners have only known HDTV, but I remember in 2003 when I first started watching high-definition television, it was the same year that I actually got the
LASIK.
The LASIK. Isn't that
right?
crazy?
Wow.
But it really was the transition of watching the dirty windshield game to what you see now. That is the difference. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. She's going to hook you up with an absolutely free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. 205-969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
So first off, last night I got to watch 28 Years Later, and it is the sequel to 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, and I think it's the best in the franchise so far. It really builds out the world that you're introduced to in 28 Days and 28 Weeks and really makes it a lot more interesting than the previous two movies. I think it's the best editing I've seen this year. It really makes the film have its own style and sets it apart from other movies like it. And the acting was great. Ralph Fiennes is in it, and he's just excellent in everything he does.
Jeez, Tyler with a glowing...
Well, Jack O'Connell, I thought was going to be a star a few years ago, and it seems like he's coming back. I just saw him in Sinners.
Yeah, he's great in Sinners.
Last week. I like Jack O'Connell a lot. I'm all in on this. I will see it at some point this weekend.
Okay.
I saw 28 Days Later originally at the theater. I will ask this, I don't know if it's spoiler alert or not, does Jim make a cameo and appearance?
He doesn't, but it's been reported that he's signed on for the next two movies.
There's two more?
28. We're going to get up to 28 Millennium Later?
So does it make sense after you see this one that there should be sequels?
Yes. It's like if you saw Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes that came out last year, it sort of reintroduces the world and puts it far into the future where you can kind of rebuild the world and explore a whole bunch of different avenues. But if you want to see my full review of that movie, you can see me and Tim talk about it in our shorts at youtube.com/@meltdown247, and we'll get more in depth into it today at 2 p.m. We've also got that Bride Hard movie I talked about earlier this week. I would skip this one if I were you. There's no way I can drag myself to this movie. It's Die Hard, but with Rebel Wilson. I didn't find her funny to begin with in like Pitch Perfect, and when she was sort of...
You didn't like Fat Amy?
Yeah, not
there are moments for Fat Amy, but the character as a whole wears on you.
I did like the Pitch Perfect franchise, though.
I do like Pitch Perfect.
I think, sadly, it was entertaining to me.
Oh, I don't think that's sad at all. Those are highly entertaining movies. Fred Willard is terrific. I like Fred Willard in just about anything.
And then, let's see, what else we got? Oh, Netflix has a new show, and they are promoting it as the next Ozark. It's called The Waterfront. As their storied North Carolina fishing empire decays, the damaged Buckleys grapple to revive their imperiled maritime heritage.
Oh, the next Ozark. What's the name of that?
The Waterfront.
It sounds more like Bloodline.
I haven't seen that.
Bloodline's really good. I tapped out after the second season.
Did you like Ozark?
Oh, I loved Ozark. I still haven't finished it for whatever reason, though.
Wow. You love it? You haven't finished it. How far along are you? Do you know?
Oh, gosh. They're doing, like, the riverboat casinos.
Oh, yeah. You still got plenty of time to go.
While.
And then...
I don't know anybody that didn't like Ozark.
I think the last episode I watched was when they get off the plane in Mexico, and then the lawyer gets popped right at the end.
Wow. Spoiler alert. It is. That is one of the scenes where I was like, I mean, do you ever have a scene in a show where your mouth is just wide open and you...
You know, she's got a big role in Mobland. Are you watching Mobland?
I have not watched Mobland, no.
Yeah.
But that was one of those where I just caught myself staring at the TV with my mouth agape, and I'm like, I cannot believe what I just watched.
Yeah, and then
you don't see it coming at all.
And you check to see how much longer's left in the episode, and you're like, wait, that's it?
Yeah, was that a season finale? I think it was.
That was, I think, season 3, maybe? I'm not sure.
I mean, I could not believe that scene. And there's one in Better Call Saul, too.
Oh, yeah.
I could not believe.
Yeah.
I mean, Jennifer and I were watching that one in Better Call Saul, and we were, both of us were just staring at the TV for I don't know how long. Like, I can't believe I just saw that.
Those are the moments you got in Game of Thrones.
Did
like
you?
the Red Wedding, you're like, holy shit. What?
Yeah.
And it didn't stop. It was like from this moment to that moment to this moment. Viper versus Mountain.
Yep.
That was, those are there were probably 4 or 5 of those moments in that franchise that were just showstoppers.
Cersei at the was it the Grand Sept towards
one
of the later seasons. Yep. That was a good episode too.
Oh gosh. That was that was the season finale, and that might have been the one Zach's talking about. I think so.
Yeah, it was head to head with the Game 7.
Yep, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep. That one like barely had any dialogue in it. It was almost like shot like a music video.
Had a lot of Dragonfire, right?
A lot of Dragonfire. And then finally, I won't be watching this, but I'm sure people in the audience will be interested in it and have kids that will be interested in it. Disney Plus has announced Frozen the Musical can now be streamed on there. So if you're not tired of Let It Go yet, you can play it this
Disney
weekend.
ain't afraid of a money grab. We got that coming up. Trash on the table.
That's going to be a trash?
Yeah.
All right, that is what Tyler is watching. Thank you very much, Tyler. It's presented by Michelson Laser Vision. When we return, I'm going to make LT pick between coaches. All right, it's like picking kids. And maybe a couple cases like picking kids. He's going to have to pick between coaches.
My favorite is Sean McVay.
We're going
my favorite kid.
He is not on the list. And we're going to unveil our 40 and 40 team today. We're getting very close to the teams you think will be in the playoffs. This is not one of them, but they are very close. That is all next on the next round.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Heupel Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Heupel are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Heupel Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Heupel Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new Chicken and Bowberry Waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try Chicken and Bowberry Waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
It's time to pull the trigger on the next round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We start another hour of the Next Round. Dunaway is out. He'll be back with us on Monday. Little oral surgery for Jimmy D yesterday. He'll be back with us on Monday. Tyler is here. Scott Forrester is here. Taylor Korn, EG. He is Lance Taylor. I'm Ryan Brown. Thank you for joining us. As always, if you're watching us on YouTube and can give us a thumbs up, that is fantastic. It helps us out a ton. We appreciate that. Make sure you're subscribed and set your alerts. And the podcast, that's where we really get your help too. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Google Podcast. Make sure, whatever the platform is, you like it, you follow it, you subscribe to it. But most importantly, please turn on your automatic downloads. Automatic download every day helps us a ton. We greatly appreciate you doing that. So get over there and turn on those automatic downloads. On the podcast side, we always appreciate your help on everything. And follow us on all social media at Next Round Live, at Next Round Live. Josh Pate was debating, and before you say, well, what did Josh say? I'm just going to say, I saw he was debating this. I was not able to get to the conclusion of his debate because of timing. But he was debating who wins a national championship first, Kalen DeBoer or Dan Lanning. So I have come up with 5 pairings.
Did he ask this with a straight face?
Coaches that have never won a national championship. Okay. And I'm going to ask you to tell me which one wins it first. A lot of these you're going to tell me I don't think either one of them does. And in that case, you've got to bet your life on one of them. Do I need this
or not?
You can do it however you want. You want to write the name on there?
No.
Okay, you just want to answer it?
Yeah, thought you might want me to do this, yeah.
You say with a straight face, which tells me I know where you're going. He asked the question, who wins a national championship first, Kalen DeBoer or Dan Lanning?
Kalen DeBoer. First of all, we've seen this matchup head-to-head 3 times.
We have.
3-0 Kalen DeBoer. That was with a lesser program in Washington. Now he's at a program that wins national championships in Alabama. And guess what Oregon doesn't do?
Well, they don't win national championships.
So, yeah.
To me, you would make DeBoer the betting.
Yes.
How big?
I would go
5-1.
I'll go even money with anybody out there that wants some action on this.
So now you're booking it for Peyton.
Yeah. I would say if you're doing this in Vegas, it would be really tight. I think DeBoer's probably a -125 favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody thinks Lanning's the next great, coach, and everybody thinks Oregon's going to win a championship. I've been waiting on this for a quarter of a century.
It is wild how long Oregon has been at or close to the top of college football and has no championship to show for it.
Yeah, I still go back the day I got my vasectomy. Landmark.
Right.
I'll never forget this. Dennis Dixon in Tucson against Arizona. Their offense was completely crushing. They were the best team. He was going to win the Heisman.
He was.
They were going to win the national championship. He tears his ACL against Arizona. They lose that game. Everything falls apart. That was the year for Oregon. Now, we remember when they tied Auburn up in 2010, and then Auburn had the incredible drive to walk it off. But, that was obviously the other time. And then Mariota against Ohio State and that incredible Cardale Jones 2014 story. So they've been really close. Now, they haven't been really close in a decade, right? Now, last year they were the number 1 seed. But before you go, hey, man, they were the best team in college football, they got walked off the field in the first game of the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, not even close. Is there a program that has done more over the last 20 years with nothing to show for it than them? I cannot think of one right offhand. And I think 20 years is fair, isn't it? I mean, that's fair enough to go back.
Yeah, 20 years is fair.
Yeah. I can't think of another program that's accomplished more in 20 years without a national championship.
You're probably
I don't
right.
think there's one in college football. Because Clemson's accomplished a lot. They got a couple. Alabama's got a bunch of them. Ohio State's won them. LSU's won them. But, I mean, Oregon is the team that has – I guess Oklahoma maybe, but, I mean, you've got to go back 25 years to their last one. But Lincoln Riley –
yeah,
more on him in a
Oklahoma's a
moment.
good call. Oklahoma would be on that list. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Yeah, but I still would say probably over the last 20 years, Oregon's been more nationally relevant than Oklahoma consistently.
Yeah, boy, Oklahoma does. Man, they grasp on that year or two for Bob Stoops.
Yeah, back in 2000, that was their last national championship. I mean, they've been close. I mean, they've been in the playoffs.
To put this in perspective, Josh Heupel was skinny.
And playing quarterback, right?
Yeah.
More on him in a moment.
I mean, do you really think there's anybody that really doesn't watch college football and they see him on a podium, they're like,
is that the
that
same
guy was a Heisman finalist?
I remember a Heupel that played at Oklahoma. I wonder if he's related.
No, if you ask like some random 25, 30-year-old girl that watches a little bit of college football, Heupel, was this guy a former quarterback or offensive lineman?
Probably offensive lineman is where they go.
Tyler, can you find a Josh Heupel picture when he played at Oklahoma?
Do Oklahoma Josh Heupel, Tyler. Have you?
Because he never looked skinny. He always had kind of the thicker face.
Yeah, he was one of those guys you could look at and tell he's probably going to have 2 chins. But, man, I tell you what, you go back and look at just those top row, those 3 in the middle right there. Any of those, yeah. I mean, look at him.
And people forget he was a great quarterback.
That's incredible that's the same guy that's coaching it. Who in the world is
he hugging?
Is he hugging Al Pacino? Is that a Photoshop,
That's got to be Photoshop. Look at the dude under his left arm.
Oh, yeah, we stumbled into a Photoshop.
Yeah.
I don't even know what we Photoshopped in there. You're going to tell us?
I don't know. Sooners Wire used the picture.
Oh, did they? They accidentally used a Photoshop picture? Where Josh Heupel do that one. That's clearly not Photoshop. I mean, man, it's crazy. That's the same guy.
Did he have frosted tips there?
It looks like he's got frosted tips. But those were in 2000, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, for certain people.
Yeah.
Can you do
certain people?
Can you do a side by side with? Boy, I'm making you work.
Yeah,
here.
boy, Tyler.
But I just want to see Heupel in his hoodie now on the podium. And what you've got there?
He can't do a side by side, but he could do a back and forth. I mean, that second one right there. I mean, that is just that guy has changed a ton, hasn't he?
You know, the funny thing, you brought Freddie Kitchens up in the first second. That's what Freddie looked like as a quarterback.
I know. Did you have a guy you graduated high school with, guy or girl, and you saw him and didn't recognize him?
Oh, hey, look, the 10-year reunion.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost all of them.
That's a lot of change in 10 years. I mean, normally a 10-year, you don't have a ton of change.
Literally 20-year couldn't recognize.
Half?
Yeah, it's probably half.
Yeah.
Probably half, yeah.
Yeah.
And now, man, I'm going on, 35 years? Yeah, this year's 35. I don't even know if we had a 35.
Look at Tyler delivering side by side with the Heupels. I mean, Tyler, if you didn't know, and you may not have known that he looked like this when he played for Oklahoma, Tyler, could you have known those are the same people?
No, I don't think I would have called them the same people.
No. If we'd have done a side by side, you'd have been like, "Who are we looking at here?"
See, now I've seen too many memes of Josh Heupel side by side with Bobby Hill from King of the Hill, and it's just way too close.
Yeah, well,
it's not what you want to be, right?
Yeah, it's not exactly a compliment.
Heupel gives no Fs at all.
Yep. All right, while we're on him, who wins a national championship first? All right, you went Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah. Who would you go right there?
Kalen DeBoer. I mean, there's a reason Oregon's never done it, right?
Well, first of all, I think DeBoer's a better coach. I really do.
Oh, I do too. I mean, I think head-to-head has shown that.
And the programs aren't even really close.
Yeah, Alabama has won national championships in almost every decade. So you know
Chip
they're
asked me yesterday how
point.
many, and I was like, well, depending on the Alabama fan you talk to, how many is it now? 19?
It's crazy.
I mean, I really don't know.
I'm looking at the side by side of Heupel.
It's the same shit.
That's terrible. But
just a line.
Way too close. Bobby grew up to be a football coach. All right, while we're on Heupel, you got to pick one of these, Lance. Who wins a national championship first, Josh Heupel or James Franklin?
Josh Heupel.
Wow. At Tennessee? I mean, there's not many places he's going to go.
I mean, to me, though, hey, look, and I know Penn State a little deeper last year, but I think they're comparable programs, and I think Heupel's a much better coach. Yeah. I'll go Heupel. Who would you go?
I mean, I have seen too much of James Franklin against good teams to think he's going to do it, but he's been closer than Heupel.
I just don't think Franklin's ever going to have the offense.
That is the big issue with him is...
And Heupel, look, the offense wasn't good last year,
No.
but the freaking defense was lights out. And if Heupel can somehow bottle this, and I do think the defense is going to be good, I don't think the offense is going to be very good this year. If he can get this offense click back in, then, I could see Heupel do it.
Let's go with this next one. Who wins a national championship first, Mario Cristobal or Lane Kiffin? And you don't necessarily have to pick their current school, but you do have to bet on one of these. Who would you bet on? You don't necessarily have to do Miami and Ole Miss, but that's where they are right now, obviously.
Yeah, I would almost be willing to bet my life that neither one of these guys ever does.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I
think that's the only. This is the only one of. I did 5 of them. This is the only one where you would say that.
Yeah,
but
I feel that strongly.
Yeah.
With that said,
I mean,
it's good. It's going to be easier for Lane to get there, especially when we go the 5-11.
Right. You could see. I don't think it will happen, but I also wouldn't rule it out. If it doesn't work out for Billy Napier at Florida, they hire Lane Kiffin. And I think it would be a little bit easier to do it at Florida than it, maybe not even a little bit. It would be easier to do it at Florida than Ole Miss. You could see that happen.
Yeah, I'm going to go Cristobal because the only reason we talked about these 6 programs right now that are spending $40+ million. Miami is one of those. Maybe everything fits together in one of these off years. I mean, look, their offense was fantastic last year. If they would have spent a little bit more money on the other side of the ball.
The number 1 overall draft pick, yeah.
Like if you give them Tennessee's defense last year, they probably won a national championship.
Yeah.
I think the offense was that explosive with Cam Ward. So if it all came together with a $40 million roster, and they're always going to have more money than Ole Miss, just based on at least what we've seen early on with the collectives, I would say Cristobal.
Who wins a national championship first, Lincoln Riley or Steve Sarkiasian? Sark's got a leg up this year.
Boy, he's got this is...
But you don't believe in him either.
The race has almost been halfway run.
I know, but it's being led by a car you don't think's got enough gas to get to the finish line. Because I've heard the way you talk about Steve Sarkiasian.
I think Lincoln Riley is about to flip this. And I think you're going to see a lot of progress this year. Not enough that they're going to compete for a national championship. I'm not buying Texas this year, so I'm going to go Lincoln Riley.
You're going to go Lincoln Riley.
Now, in Vegas, I think this would be a Sark minus 175 or minus 200.
With the team they've got this year, you would have to do that.
Yeah. And I know you got Texas to win it. So
I do. And a lot of people
you.
do. Yeah. I mean, yes, I would have to pick Steve Sarkiasian. And then the final one, 2 guys that you like a lot, and there's a common tie here. Who wins a national championship first, Brian Kelly or Marcus Freeman? I think you've got Kelly winning it this year, don't you?
No, I've got them winning the SEC.
Okay, well, now we're back. Who wins a national championship first, Brian Kelly or Marcus Freeman?
I am going to for the record, I think both will win a national championship, and I think it is interesting you paired former Notre Dame coach, current Notre Dame coach.
Found a tie.
It is a different world, and, Brian Kelly's like, how in the hell are you spending all this money now? Now, I'm sure they cheated a little bit back in the day with Brian Kelly. I will go Brian Kelly, though.
So you went Kalen DeBoer over Dan Lanning, Brian Kelly over Marcus Freeman, Josh Heupel over James Franklin, Lincoln Riley over Steve Sarkiasian, Mario Cristobal over Lane Kiffin.
You know what would be interesting in Vegas, Brian Kelly or Marcus Freeman? I think Vegas would favor Marcus Freeman right now.
Easier path to the playoffs by far and away.
Easier path to the playoffs. He played for a national championship last year. His recruiting has been lights out.
Yeah. I'll give you some feedback in the chat room here. Try to read the people in the chat room that the chat room approves. Apparently, I'm 0 for 1 today. Keith says James Franklin. He would take him over Josh Heupel. Brian says Josh Heupel. Easily, he would take him. Brian says James Franklin, the choke queen, not taking him. A.K. Heupel more likely than Franklin. Boy, we split him on that one, didn't we? Zach says Cristobal over Kiffin. He went with you on that one. Digging through these.
I mean, and some of this is brand, too. And I know you said it could be at different schools.
It could be, but I mean, most of these guys are going to be at their school for a long time.
It's been a quarter of a century, but we've seen Miami do this before. Like, I just don't think there's going to be a day that we see Ole Miss win a national championship.
Keith calls Lincoln Riley Jimbo Riley. That's a shot at Lincoln Riley comparing him to Jimbo Fisher. Is that fair yet?
Well, Jimbo does have a national championship,
true.
but I think there has been more consistency out of Lincoln Riley.
I would say that, yeah. I would say that. Well, there you go. Those are guys, just off the top of my head, I compared based on our guy Josh Pate talking
and none
about
of those
Kalen
guys
DeBoer
have
versus
won a
Dan Lanning.
national championship.
Not a one of them.
And I would say on that list, who?
Yeah, I was going to say who would you make the betting favorite to be the first one to do it? I think the way you talk about him, you'd go DeBoer.
Yeah, Brian Kelly could do it this year. Of course, DeBoer could do it this year. I'm going to go DeBoer.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with it. I think Alabama fans in the next 2 or 3 years will have another national championship.
Well, here's and Scott's about to show us one reason Alabama might after you tell us about Woodhouse Day Spa. Tell us about Woodhouse Day Spa, and Scott's going to show you something from Pro Football Focus that will tell you why Alabama might have a shot at it this year.
The gift of relaxation, you can get it from Birmingham's best day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa, located at the Summit Shopping Centers right off of Highway 280. Get into their beautiful location. Go see Stuart and the great staff. Tell them the next round sent you. You can also order gift cards 24/7 online. They will deliver to you. Easy gift right there. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. You can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Again, stop by the Summit Shopping Center, see the great staff, or go online. Order those gift cards 24/7. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
All right, so Scott showed me this morning. Pro Football Focus, the college aspect of Pro Football Focus, PFF_college, ranks Alabama's offensive line as the top offensive line in America. And the way they shake it out, the way they've got Alabama's offensive line going, assuming this is the day one offensive line for the Crimson Tide, Caden Proctor at left tackle, Cam Dewberry, the Texas A&M transfer, at the left guard, replacing our guy Tyler Booker, Parker Brailsford at the center, Jaden Roberts at right guard, and Wilkin Formby out at right tackle. They say that grouping right there, that 5 across the front, is the best in college football.
Well, so Formby's going to have to show kind of the progression you saw from Proctor.
Yeah, rough game last year for him against South Florida, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people believe, though, that Proctor is your best tackle in football. Brailsford could be your best center. I mean, this doesn't really surprise me. And I think what's going to be fascinating, does Alabama get back to what won them a lot of championships, like running downhill and then opening things up for great players on the edge? You know, a lot of this pressure is going to – like, I got no doubt the offensive line is going to be good. The receivers are going to be great. Whoever, Jam Miller, whoever you pick in that backfield. But it's going to come down to how good is Ty Simpson.
You know, it's interesting because you brought up the fact that historically – DeBoer and Grubb like running the football.
They do.
They're not some pass happy in spite of the fact that they've put several quarterbacks in the NFL.
They got away from it last year, both of them.
But part of that, too, was their quarterback was their best running back. So you didn't get to see a traditional, as you called it, downhill running game.
Yeah. Now, Grubb got away from it, though, in Seattle, which was really interesting and one of the reasons that he's no longer there.
Yeah, but you think maybe coming back to a place where you've got the nation's best offensive line, perhaps, and, you know, a good crop of running backs, you might kind of find your center again and run the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, what is your expectation for Ty Simpson? If I told you Ty Simpson ultimately has a better year than Arch Manning, would that surprise you?
Well, here are two things. No. I mean, it's not the betting favorite by any stretch
but
of the imagination.
I think it would shock a lot of people. It wouldn't surprise me.
Well, there are two things I know about Alabama. Here are two things I know. A lot of people think that this offensive line is really good. Pro Football Focus thinks it's the best in the country, okay? Whether you think it's the best in the country or not, it's really good. So a lot of people think this offensive line is really good. And the other thing I know is a lot of people in Tuscaloosa think that this group of receivers is the best they have had since 2000, which was Heisman Trophy Award-winning Devontae Smith. Before he got hurt, Jalen Waddle, John Mechie, all NFL receivers right there. They think this is the best receiving group since then. So I think you're going to be really good at offensive line and really good at receivers. So, Lance, if you want to be a good quarterback, if you got a good line in front of you and a good group of receivers to throw to, you've won half the battle already.
Okay. Now, I'm not saying this, but what this could ultimately remind you of is that 2020 team with Mac Jones. Like, I didn't,
if they're that good.
Well, at that point, I think you were the one that said Mac Jones was going to start. I think me and Dunaway believed it was Bryce Young. I think there's some people that think Keelan Russell could ultimately be the starting quarterback.
And maybe you'll see some of Keelan Russell. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I mean, a lot of people
think
think
Ty Simpson.
A Keelan Russell package.
But we've heard that Russell is going to be too good to keep off the field.
The only thing I liked about Mac Jones that year was I thought he played very well. Everybody focuses, and this what I'm about to say sounds stupid, and I get it. But everybody focused the Iron Bowl on those 2 pick sixes. One of those was just a bizarre play. The other one was a bad pass.
Yep.
But if you were able to flush those, which is hard to do, he was terrific in that game.
Yeah.
And he had played he had 3 other starts, and he was good in all of them. So I liked what I saw from Mac Jones in relief. I just haven't seen that from Ty Simpson, so I don't know.
And I still will stick with this. I think you agree that if Mac Jones would have gone to San Francisco, people would be more understanding how good that season played out in 2020.
Yeah. Let's unveil our 40 and 40 team. That's Pro Football Focus College saying that they like Alabama's offensive line, the best in the country. Champions Boxing brings you our 40 and 40.
Hey, if you're looking for that unique workout, our friends at Champions Boxing, they've got it for you. This is an outstanding place. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, you're a dad in his 40s or 50s looking for another way to get in shape, or you've got a kid at home this summer looking for a little direction. The coaches, they've got experience in the amateur, professional, Olympic levels. It's boxing for fitness and competition. All ages starting at 9 years old. 8 USA boxing certified coaches, not only in boxing, but strength and conditioning. Any former athletes looking to try another sport to compete in after high school or college, this could be perfect for you. The official sports boxing coordinator for the 2025 World Police and Fire Games held right here in Birmingham next month. For more information, they're located in Pelham, right behind the Purple Onion. On Instagram at Champions Boxing AL, on Facebook at Champions Boxing AL as well.
All right, so 45 of you voted, audience members that were applying to vote. Jim selected those. Some media members that were asked to vote, and you have given us your 40 teams and 40 shows leading up to SEC Media Days. What you're about to find out is we are now our 13th show from SEC Media Days. So just a couple of weeks, we'll be over in Atlanta for SEC Media Days to get ready for the college football season. Number 13 today. They were a playoff team last year. You voters say they just missed the playoffs this year. Arizona State, the Soon Devils, out of the Big 12. Now, as I say, you guys are picking them to win to miss the playoffs. That would tell you there is another Big 12 team in front of them, which is in fact the case. So you didn't even pick them as a group of voters to win the Big 12. Can they repeat again this year?
They can. I think they're going to be good. My only problem I've got with Arizona State is they were third in the nation last year in turnovers, which is going to equate to a lot of wins. So the ball did literally bounce in their direction a lot of times. They had 6 of their 11 wins, 1 possession wins, and a lot of that was because they were plus in turnovers. Are they going to be that fortuitous again this year to be able to get those turnovers? I don't know. Scattaboo is going to be a huge loss. I mean, we're talking about a guy over 2,300 total yards, 24 touchdowns. Sam Levitt coming back should be better. Jordan Tyson, who they missed to the postseason last year, is one of the top 4 or 5 receivers in all of college football. They were 10-0 when Levitt went 60% plus of his passes, 1-2 when they didn't. The one game they did win, I think they ran for 350 yards against Mississippi State. I think they're going to be really good. They're going to be favored in probably 9 games, but they're not going to sneak up on anybody. And the Big 12 is so loaded, I would be surprised if they win the Big 12 again. If they do, 35-year-old Kenny Dillingham, the head has gone from here to here.
Right.
It's going to be here. Yeah.
The ever-growing head of Kenny Dillingham. Ask about what we're just talking about. How does this team look compared to the playoff team of last year?
A year ago to now, what would you say is the biggest change in how this team's looked?
Yeah, well, I think we're bigger across the board. I think we're a bigger football team. Obviously, we have a quarterback who we know who the quarterback is, who takes control, right? So we have a natural leader at the quarterback position. So I think the biggest deal is, our quarterback's established, and then we have, an established wideout who's not going right now. But I think we have some key elements where we know we want to be and how we want the offense to look. Whereas last year it was complete, what are we going to be? I think now it's way more, we know for the most part how we're going to look or what we want it to look like. So let's double down on the things we know we're going to be.
That's Kenny Dillingham.
Last time you saw a little presser, a stand-up presser, and hear Harley just cruising
That was one
by.
thing. Like when I was a kid and you used to watch Cardinals games there or Super Bowls there or the Fiesta Bowl at Sun Devil Stadium.
I finally went to a game there. Did I ever tell you that?
You did not. It always seemed like it was out in the middle of nowhere to me, like out in the desert. And then the when we were at Bama Clemson out in the desert, it's right on the interstate.
Yeah.
I mean, when you watched it, they made it look like it was in the middle of the desert somewhere. I mean, it's literally in a urban area right on the interstate. Who'd you go see there?
So this would have been 2004, I guess. We talked about Cornell taking the first play from scrimmage.
So, that was 2003.
2003, yeah. So the day after those games, the Eli Manning LSU game and the Iron Bowl, the Cardinals hosting the Rams. And the Cardinals walked it off with like a 55-yard field goal. Of
course they
But
did.
it was all metal bleachers. I can't make this up. It was a high school stadium.
No, it's not a very nice-looking stadium when you drive by it. I always kind of liked it when I was a kid. But when you drive by it on the interstate, you're like, we had Super Bowls there, huh?
I'm going to give this guy he's very, very confident. I guess this is what you need. You need this kind of moxie when you're the head coach at Arizona State. But, they went from 3-9 to 11 wins, a double overtime loss to Texas. But I'm going to go on and say it. They will handle the Lumberjacks of Northern Arizona.
I was going to ask you this question. Tell me about week 2.
I think they lose.
That's a tough spot for them, isn't it? If you don't know, 6:30 ESPN2 in Davis-Wade Stadium against Mississippi State.
Well, look, and if you watch that game last year, Mississippi State and Arizona State.
They hung with them.
Yeah, I mean, they hung with them, and, Scattaboo went for 262 yards on the ground, and they still only lost by possession, in Phoenix. Or in Tempe, I should say. So I think Mississippi State, this could be Jeff Lebby's signature win early on.
And I know how you feel about Baylor. That's a week 4 road game in Waco.
Coin flip
game. If you think TCU is going to be good, as some do, it's a home game at Mountain America Stadium. I didn't know that's what we call that now, Mountain America Stadium. They're at Utah. I know how you feel about Utah.
Will be favored.
They host Texas Tech.
That'll be a coin flip.
They host Houston.
It should be a win, but
at Iowa State,
they're going to be underdogs there.
Host West Virginia.
Should win.
At Colorado and Arizona. It's a softer finish.
Yep.
That's the good news for them. But I wanted to ask you that point blank. Week 2 in Starkville, did you think State's got a little something for them? And
I do. I think Mississippi State, first of all, is going to be improved in year 2 under Jeff Lebby, but I just think it's a dangerous game going West Coast to East Coast that early in the season. How muggy will it be in Starkville?
Oh, my gosh. You kidding me? 7:30 or 6:30 at night, Saturday, September 6th?
Big difference between the dry heat, the furnace blaster that is Tempe, and it's hot as hell out there, but there is a difference between that heat and what you will get in Mississippi September 6th.
Well, that's our 40 and 40 today, presented by Champions Boxing. Number 13 is Arizona State. We'll do 4 downs when we return. We've also got an unboxing. We'll do right here in studio.
Are you guys stealing our content?
No, it's not DVDs, Tyler.
Okay.
Settle down. It's not DVDs.
All right, just checking.
But we are, when it came time to redo the master bath in the Brown house, my wife, Jennifer, scoured the internet looking for the right person for the job. By doing so, she talked to a bunch of contractors, people that had used certain contractors, read a ton of reviews. She did her homework, is what I'm getting at. Brad Bell is the guy she picked, and I am so glad she did. Brad did tremendous work and the Brown House, he can do the same for you. Here's what Brad specializes in. Scott shows you the before and afters of our bathroom, our master bath. That's one of the things he specializes in. But in addition to that, kitchens and master bedroom closets. I'm not telling you it's all Brad does, but I am telling you he specializes in that, and that's important because of several reasons. Number one, you'll make some of your money back when you go to sell your house when those rooms are updated. But number two, you're going to live in your house a while after this, right? And you spend a lot of time in the master bath, in the kitchen. Master bedroom closets need to be functional. So get Brad involved. You can see more and get a lot of before and afters. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. That is AlabamaBathRemodels.com. Or call Brad, 205-422-1758. 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, AlabamaBathRemodels.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
This hour of the Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new Chicken and Bowberry Waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try Chicken and Bowberry Waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those those of our lawyers.
All right, we continue on the next round. 4 downs coming up in just a few moments. I want to remind you about Breakline Optics. Here are mine. Scott, you got some new ones yesterday, did you not? Our friends at Breakline Optics came up here and got you some sunglasses. Am I right?
They sure did.
Are you wearing them? I've got mine on.
I am now.
You are now. What you think?
Oh, they're pretty sharp.
Yeah? You like them?
I'm going to be rocking them all day at the ballpark.
Well, I told Forrester, hey, give me your order. I told Tyler. Tyler never did. Dunaway never did. Forrester
Dunaway's got his now. He took mine.
I put it in the chat yesterday. They've got a model. It's like the Kiwis that is sort of like the Wayfarer style. I like those.
So you put it in the chat. How am I supposed to get it out of the
why
chat?
don't you just text Lance?
Yeah, why would you not text me?
Oh, I didn't know it was like you were like placing an order.
Well, did you not see what happened? Forrester gives me his order. I send it to my man Cleve. Cleve actually hand-delivered these yesterday.
Kiwi Wayfarer, is that what you said?
Yeah, it was black Kiwis.
Oh, black Kiwi.
Okay.
Black. All right, I'm going to write
I'll tell
it
you,
down
go
here.
online. These are great gifts. If you're into fishing, golf, I'm into neither, and I've got 2 pairs of the Breakline. Just great glasses. Polarized styles for, unisex, men, women, every kind of style you can imagine, but local product, the durability, fantastic. You said you can beat them with a hammer.
They beat the lenses with hammers. You can't break them. BreaklineOptics.com. BreaklineOptics.com is the website. If you want to see them for yourself, Deep South Outfitters carries them. These are local guys, Birmingham guys, a national company, but based right here in Birmingham, as Lance said, so Birmingham-based that when Scott ordered his, they were hand-delivered by our friend Cleve. They're at Breakline Optics. BreaklineOptics.com.
What I will do for Tyler is me and Cleve are going to drink some cold beer next week. When he came up here, I told him that. So when we do that, I will pick these up for you.
You're going to get a cold beer-induced sunglasses delivery, Tyler.
All right.
It's a win for you right there. They are talking is this true? They're talking in the chat room. I don't know why they're talking about this. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I don't know if it's true that there is lower alcohol content in beers at the beach. There's not.
No, ABV is different state by state.
Yeah, so by the beach, it's just because you're in Florida. It's not because it's at the beach.
Yeah. I think it would just be the Florida ABV.
Yeah.
They're not doing it because, hey, man, these people are going to be day drinking. We don't want them to go a case deep.
That's right, yeah. So
but it's so funny. My ex-wife's mom, they're all at the lake this weekend, and I was talking to Jack last night.
Right.
And she drinks the Bud Select 55s.
Okay.
I think I could drink 50 of them.
You could drink 50 of those?
No,
Why?
I think, I'm not exaggerating. I bet I could drink 20. I could do a case on our show in 3 hours and still be completely fine by the end of the show.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just a very light content beer.
Yeah. Bud Select 55.
Bud Select
I've seen
55,
those.
yeah.
Yeah, so what's the ABV on that?
Non-existent. No. I would say they probably listed it right around 3%, maybe 2.5%.
Yeah. So
apparently, Florida state law says that it can't be above 6.
So what is
I don't know why they'd go all the way down to 3 though?
Yeah. What's the Bud Light in our keg right there? What's the ABV on that?
That should be about 4.
About 4?
Yeah. Okay.
So Florida state law says it can't exceed 6.
But that's not true because they've got IPAs in Florida. I think and I could be wrong on this. I think their domestics have lower ABV than they have in other states. This is going to be we need to reach out to our Bud Light people. I don't want to
beer that
butcher this.
exceeds the limit is typically sold in state contracted stores like those selling wine and spirits, which have their own regulations.
So the
pay
state,
somebody
that's right.
at the state
that's
liquor
right.
board, you can't.
So
sell
the
it.
state is we're going to have one set of laws for everybody else, but for the state now we're going to have our own set of laws.
Yep.
Right here.
Bud Light 4.2% is ABV. I want to tell you this Bud Select 55 though. You've watched Landman, right?
I watched some of it. I've never watched an entire episode.
I mean, really, you talked about the signature moment in Jaws, and we'll get more to Jaws in hopefully the final hour. 50th anniversary today, June 20th of 1975. But the funniest scene to me, Billy Bob Thornton sitting at the bar, and he's drinking Ultras, and the bartender's like, because he was talking about I don't drink anymore, and he's like, you're drinking alcohol right here, and he's like, orange juice has got more than this, and the dude's like, this is alcohol, and he goes, I'll tell you what, buddy, I'll drink 5 of these sumbitches right here, and then I'll come back tomorrow and I'll drink 5 bourbons, and you tell me if you can tell the difference. And it's so true. Bud 55, 2.4.
2.4?
Yeah, I could knock a case of those out in 3 hours for sure.
Yeah, Love the Blue was right before you. Budweiser Select has Select 55, 2.4 alcohol by volume. Light beer, 55 calories, 0 grams of fat per serving.
But that is one of those good beers. If you just want to sit at the beach, you want to have a little flavor, a little crisp pop of the Pilsner.
Yeah.
And really not get affected at all day. You can sit on the beach and drink those all day because you can just piss them out in the Gulf of America.
All right, we're going to, okay, yes, you can do that. We're going to do.
Somebody's uttered that?
Yeah, that's maybe
I'm
the first time.
piss it off in the Gulf of America today.
We're going to do 4 downs today. It's going to be presented by our friends at Roback. Roback.com, code TNR20 to save 20% off your order there at Roback.com. And since they're sponsoring 4 downs today, they've sent us a delivery.
They have.
I am told we're going to have an unboxing. Now, poor Jim. Jim had oral surgery, so he's not here to get his portion of the unboxing, but we'll save it for him. He's going to get it.
You see the dog?
See the Roback dog on the box there? Yeah, there's the old Roback dog.
Okay, let's see what we've got.
All right, so we're going to unbox our Roback
I kind of know what's in here. You don't.
I do not. I've got no earthly idea.
Well, the rest of our staff got their delivery.
Theirs is in another box.
Yes.
What you got in there, Tyler? What you got?
I have got one of their Huddle hoodies.
Huddle hoodie?
So this is like their heavyweight, thick hoodie.
Yeah.
And I haven't put it on yet, but I did some feeling on the inside and
You
on
like
the
that?
outside.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it is going to be soft
Come
and
on.
warm.
Do a hoodie swap. Throw that thing
I'll
on
throw
real
it on
quick.
Okay, Tyler's going to go through it on Scott. Oh, well, no, do it, Tyler. Scott can't. We can't turn Scott's mic. Scott got a, hold yours up, Scott. I think it's an Auburn hoodie. Am I right about that?
Well, I think Scott's got the royal blue one.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
And now he's got the orange to match.
Yeah, look
I
at
love
that.
that.
You got Whole Man Road.
Their team gear. The problem is they don't have any USC stuff. But for the Alabama or Auburn fan out there, they've got both. Okay.
All right, we're about to find out what we get. Lance is going to destroy this box. Boy, Roback packed that thing good. All right, what have I got?
Well,
Is
first one's done away.
All right. Oh, that's a good looking shirt.
This is, James Sr. would love this. This is astronauts playing golf.
Oh, heck
Up in
yeah.
space,
Up in
yeah.
space. I like that.
Yeah,
Very
so
4th of July.
it's done away.
Just in time for Independence Day.
Here's another done away. This is American rock and roll. There's an astronaut with the American flag. You got some band action.
Yep.
That's just a good American shirt.
Yeah, Jimmy America with 2 American shirts. Tyler, that's a good looking hoodie, my man. I like that.
It's a real comfortable hoodie.
Oh,
This
their
is
hoodies are
soft.
Their hoodies are phenomenal.
So normally when you get like thicker hoodies, it has like that stiffer material,
Yeah.
but this still is like not quite as soft as the lightweight hoodies, obviously, but still has that same sort of like buttery feel to it.
Yeah, that's a good looking hoodie.
It's
I like
great.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, is this me?
This is you. This is the margarita.
The margarita. I like it.
Yeah, got a little fluorescent lime pop.
Yeah, fluorescent lime, a little blue.
You know, you actually
That's a nice summer shirt.
You could wear that with a blue short, a gray short.
That's right.
You can wear it with blue jeans.
Khaki shorts. Yep.
I love this one. This is truly America. You've got Thomas Jefferson. You got Abe
the
Lincoln,
presidents, yeah.
George Washington, the Statue of Liberty.
U.S. Capitol, Liberty Bell, the old stars and stripes.
That's a great looking shirt.
Heck yeah.
What else do we have in here?
Thank you, Roback. Code TNR20, Roback.com. Save 20% off your order. What's
Swim
this?
trunks for me, stars.
Oh, look at stars fell on Lance's pool.
I think I might pull these out today if the weather holds.
Yeah.
So I've got some stars. Look at this summer color.
Oh,
a
look
little
at that
fluorescent hoodie for me.
Fluorescent hoodie. You need it up here right now. We got the AC kicking today.
Roback. They did it for Bullet and Chili. We got dog bandanas.
Wow, thank God.
Yep.
I tell you, that was the one thing those dogs needed to set them off is bandanas.
Bullet's going to go stars and Chili would go paws. So they've got dog bandanas now.
Fantastic.
At Roback.
Yeah.
So great stuff there. We
will
appreciate
that settle them down?
No, it will not.
It will not?
No.
Thank you, Roback. Always outfitting the entire staff here. Roback.com, code TNR20 to save 20% off your initial order. Scott is giving you a QR code right there on the screen if you're watching us, where you can just click on the code and go save right away. Code TNR20 at Roback.com. They bring us 4 downs.
First down.
Moving forward, career playoff wins for Kenny Dillingham. I'm going to put it at 1.5.
I would take the under. I mean, he was in, didn't win it. Now, they play Texas.
You think he would debate you on this?
Oh, yeah.
Double over.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the best Quinn Ewers version,
no doubt.
they don't win that game.
They don't win that game. But so he's got 0 right now. Just getting back to the playoffs as his coach at Arizona State would be an accomplishment, though you're in the Big 12. Somebody's got to go.
I'm almost convinced Big 12 is going to get one every year, and that's it.
Yeah, but I would say under the 1.5.
I think I would go under the 1.5. I think Dillingham would debate us heavily on this.
Yeah.
It would be just appalled.
He would. He couldn't believe it. We'd have our long microphone with a stick.
Take.
Yeah. Sorry,
Second down.
Okay, very quick to the end there.
More wins in 2025. That was like when you used to DJ and the song would just have, it wouldn't fade out. It was
just end. Excuse me.
So more wins this year, Arizona State or the Arizona Cardinals? And before people scoff and laugh at this, Arizona is going to be much improved this year,
think so?
in my opinion. I think so. And I don't think Arizona State's going to sneak up on anybody. With that said, they probably still win 8 or 9 games. Are the Cardinals good enough to win 8 or 9 games?
Well, who's going to lose games in the NFC West if the Cardinals win 8 or 9? I mean, the 49ers aren't going to fall off that much, are they?
I mean, they can't. I mean, they're going to be better than they were last year.
Yeah, Seahawks
are going to be about the same.
Yeah.
I think Arizona's going to be a little improved. Now, being a little improved doesn't necessarily equate to wins.
Yeah, and the Rams are, they're going to be 10, 11 regular season, maybe 12.
Oh, wow, we hope.
I know. I think I would go more wins Arizona State Sun Devils over the Arizona Cardinals.
I think I would lean that way.
Yeah.
But I think when it's all said and done, I think Arizona State is 8 or 9. I think the Arizona Cardinals are 7 or 8. So I agree with you. I would go Arizona State.
Third down.
Nicole Kidman, 58 years old today. Lionel Richie, 76. Ultimately better career.
I think I would go Lionel Richie on this one, and his career keeps going and going and going. Nicole Kidman's, what's the last thing she did?
Man, she is one of the few actresses that creeps into her 50s and still gets really credible roles.
I see her nearly every day because at AMC theaters, she does
the
pre-show ad where she's welcoming you to
She's like a member of Tyler's family.
And that's her in her prime. That commercial's probably 10 years old, maybe even 15 years old. Like if you've ever seen the movie Dead Calm, which is a great movie with Sam Neill, a young Nicole Kidman, Billy Zane. Have you seen it?
I have not.
Put that in your queue. It is incredible. But that is a really, really young Nicole Kidman. But she's had an incredible career. I would have said hands down it was Lionel Richie a couple of years ago. It's gotten really close.
Yeah, I mean,
Lionel
Richie with the Commodores, who are one of the top groups of that genre.
He was even more
successful solo, and now his TV career. I mean, he's had a good long career.
Yeah. No, he has.
Yeah. I think I would have to go Lionel Richie. I don't know how many number ones Lionel Richie had. I didn't love his solo stuff.
You love Dancing on the Ceiling.
Dancing on the Ceiling is one of the worst songs ever. I did not love his solo stuff, but you cannot argue with the success he's had, I would say. So
yeah, I would lean Lionel Richie, but I think it is really close.
Yep.
Fourth down.
John Goodman, 73 years old. The Babe, one of the worst sports movies of all time. But what is the worst sports movie of all time?
God, that's a tough one.
What was the one where the kid managed the Twins?
Angels in the Outfield?
No. It was awful. God, there's so many bad baseball movies. I mean, just terrible.
What was the one where the kid managed the Twins?
I thought The Waterboy was horrible. I know. I'm in the minority.
I don't view that.
I really like The Waterboy.
I don't view that as a sports movie. I mean, that's more
a thriller.
I don't know what I would call it. Yeah, I mean, that's more just like a comedy where sports.
A classical period
I don't know
piece.
what makes a sport. Like, I don't put The Natural and Waterboy in the same genre and call those both sports movies, right?
So the movie you were looking for, Brown, is Little Big League.
Little Big League, yeah, that's the one where he's coaching the Twins.
Yeah, that might be the worst in my opinion.
Keith says the Bear Bryant movie. You brought it up the other day.
I never
with Gary
saw
Busey.
it. Never saw it.
I saw it. I remember being a kid in the theater. I guess my parents went and watched the theater, and I got dragged along. But here's the one thing I remember about it. All right, there's only one thing I remember about that movie: Gary Busey playing Bear Bryant. We're at Plaza Cinemas in Anniston, and we're watching the movie. And Gary Busey goes into a hat store and sees the houndstooth hat, right? And I don't know that this ever happened. I don't know that Bear Bryant did this, but that's the way it's portrayed in the movie. He goes in a hat store, he sees the houndstooth hat in a glass case, and he's going to get the hat.
By the way, Bear Bryant did not seem like a shopper to me.
No, somebody gave him the hat. So in the theater, When the hat flashes up on the screen, some guy in the theater goes, "There it is." He was so excited we got to that scene. I'll just never forget as a kid, that guy goes, "There it is."
Did somebody roll tide? Roll tide. I never saw it. I did hear that Gary Busey was going around Tuscaloosa in a limousine when they were making the film.
Oh, really?
And was partying his ass off.
Really?
But if you know anything about Gary Busey, it makes
not
sense.
a shocker.
I would love to see what the chat says about the worst sports movie of all time.
Yeah, well, that
I
one
thought
came
The
from there.
Rookie was terrible with Dennis Quaid.
I got one.
Okay.
Caddyshack 2.
Caddyshack 2 is awful.
Is horrendous.
Yeah.
I never saw it.
Oh, Caddyshack is so good, and Caddyshack 2 is equally bad. Well, you didn't get
anytime you make a sequel for a sports franchise, it's probably a problem.
And you just didn't have enough of the main people to come back. You know, Ted Knight was not in 2, was he, Scott?
No. I don't
Probably dead at that point.
Ted Knight was not.
Dangerfield.
Rodney was not. Bill Murray was not, I
think Bill Murray was the only
Was
one
he?
they brought back.
Bill Murray was in it.
Okay, Chevy Chase was not then, right?
Yeah, Bill Murray was the only one that signed on for the second
And
one.
what was it? Jackie Mason.
Yeah.
Jackie Mason, not Jackie Gleason. Jackie Mason was the main character.
So Michael
Terrible movie.
O'Keefe played Danny in the
I don't know if he
original.
was back, yeah.
Do you know what? He plays John Hamm's dad in Friends and Neighbors. How old have we gotten when
I
Michael
know.
O'Keefe, when the caddy is playing John Hamm's dad?
The teenage caddy. Was that fourth down, by the way?
That was. I think there's more bad sports movies than good.
100%.
Terry in the chat says basketball, and I think that's just wrong. I really like basketball.
Never saw it. Eddie. Zach says Eddie. That's the one where the donkeys playing basketball, I think.
No, that was Trey Stone, or Matt Parker, and
South Park guys.
What's the one where the donkeys? Whoopi Goldberg's in it, and the donkeys. Ed. That's right.
Or is that the chimp with Matt LeBlanc?
I don't know.
Hey, I would put Any Given Sunday in this conversation.
That's
too.
the one I was going to say, Scott, where Al Pacino's the coach of the Sharks.
It's awful.
Yeah, that's a terrible movie. I generally don't like.
See, I didn't
sports
see
movies.
it. I didn't see the replacements. Like I'm like you. I just don't even watch it.
I really don't care for sports movies. I mean, most of them are bad. That's why I don't like them.
Yeah, I can give you 5 really good ones right now.
I mean, I like The Natural.
Raging Bull is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, there's some I like. But
Hoosiers.
Hoosiers is fantastic.
North Dallas 40.
Yeah. All right, that is 4 downs. Thank you to Roback for sponsoring it today. Roback.com, code TNR20.
Are you
TNR20.
going to deliver Dunaway? This will make his toothache better?
I'll see if he wants me to bring him to the house or if he just wants right there and he can pick him up.
I would bet he's playing golf this weekend. It's supposed to be nice, right?
Yeah, it's going to be nice. Jimmy America might want to go out in his American gear right there. Thank you to Roback for doing that. Company Distilling takes us to the top of the hour before we talk some more college football with our guy, Chris Doering.
Hey, if you're looking for a unique trip this summer, you're trying to, I don't really want to go to the lake. I don't want to go to the beach. Company Distilling has got something that could be a lot of fun for you, especially if you're a bourbon lover. If you're looking for that summer road trip or toasting to, Company Distilling has 3 must-visit distillery destinations across Tennessee. Thompson Station, just outside of Nashville. Historic Lynchburg and Townsend in the heart of the Smoky Mountains. Take a tour, enjoy a flight of award-winning whiskey, sip on a craft cocktail, soak it all in with the best of company. Plan your visit at companydistilling.com. All ages are welcome to visit. Must be 21 or older to sample. Please enjoy responsibly. And you can now find Company Distilling ABC stores across Alabama, also Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina. Whether you're picking up a bottle for a weekend gathering or just exploring something new, Company Distilling is worth the pour. For more information, companydistilling.com.
The SEC Network's Chris Doering talks some college football with us next on the next round.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Heupel Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Heupel are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Heupel Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Heupel Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we head to the final hour of the week. Chris Doering is going to join us to talk some football momentarily. Dunaway will be back with us on Monday. He's Lance Taylor. I'm Ryan Brown. The rest of the entire crew is here. Champy's brings you this hour. Champy's world famous fried chicken. Find one near you, including Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew do a tremendous job there. They've thrown the doors open. They are ready for lunch for you. From that great fried chicken to the Mississippi Delta recipe, tamales, the great po' boys, the sides, the drinks at the bar. Always a wonderful place to go. Champy'sChicken.com, Champy'sChicken.com. Florida great SEC Network analyst Chris Doering with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. Chris Doering, how are you, my friend? Good to see you.
I'm good, man. Good to be on with you guys. And Lance, we get to jump on the weekend there, bro?
I already got workout in this morning, up early, and Fridays at 11 o'clock, I try to have a cold beer.
There you go, a little Stella.
I do not begrudge you for that.
Oh, I know you don't. Hey, so I got this weird prediction. I believe Oklahoma is going to be 5-0 heading into the Red River Shootout. I've got Texas at 3-2, losing to Ohio State and in Gainesville. People think I'm crazy. DJ Lagway 6-1. This is going to be a really good Florida team. The schedule is absolutely brutal. But are people already talking about that Texas game?
Oh, no question. I was doing a show last night, and the host, Buddy Martin, who you guys probably know, said he could make an argument that it's the most important home game in the history of the program. I don't know if I would go that far.
Whoa.
I do agree that it is a massive game. It's a highly anticipated game. I got into a little bit of a trouble with some Texas fans the other day on the SEC Network. We did a start, bench, and cut segment with DJ Lagway, Garrett Nussmeier, and Arch Manning. And I had Arch as the guy we're cutting. And it's not because I don't think he's going to be great. It's because we've seen much more proven success on the field from DJ Lagway and Garrett Nussmeier. So I do have questions. There's a lot of pieces that are gone from last year's team. They recruit really well. We talked a lot about what their budget is for building that roster. But coming to the Swamp for the first time, it's going to be a unique setting for them. And Florida has got that brutal 4-game stretch. You look at LSU, going to Miami, getting Texas at home, and then having to play in College Station against Texas A&M. I don't know if there's a more difficult 4-game stretch of anybody in college football this year than what Florida will face.
Did you start Nussmeier?
No, I started DJ Lagway. And here's the thing.
And with that said, get to your point, but I do want – I mean, he's not going to be Tim Tebow, but put DJ Lagway out there with potential with other Florida quarterbacks.
Yeah, here's the thing. As it relates to tying the bow on Nussmeier, I love Nuss. My son was friends with him when his dad was the coordinator here. I have a lot of respect for him. I still get worried about, in clutch situations, him being a little too loose with the football, whether we're talking about throwing into coverage or not protecting the ball in the pocket. I need to see that improve before I'm ready to go all in. I have him as like my second best quarterback in the league heading into the season. But for DJ Lagway, I look at this guy, he is the real deal. Not only was he committed for a long period of time, didn't waver with his commitment, recruited well around him, but he's like the Pied Piper, man. Everybody wants to come be a part of playing with DJ Lagway. And I think you guys know the most important characteristic of a quarterback is what he does to elevate the play of the other 10 guys in the huddle. I think he does a tremendous job of making everybody around him better. And let's be honest, we didn't see him healthy for much of the year last year. Everything he did was, with an injury. So I'm hopeful that he could be helpful. A lot of rumors about this hernia injury that he was dealing with dating back to high school. Supposedly that's better, but that's one of the big knocks on Anthony Richardson is his inability to be on the field. I'm not saying that Lagway's in that same category at all, but that would be the only thing that I would see that could potentially be a challenge to him not being amongst the greats. And you talk about greats, we're talking about those 3 statue-worthy folks out in the west stands of the Florida field.
Chris Doering is with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline, and you see him on the SEC Network at Chris Doering on Twitter. When Florida was our preview team Wednesday, I said this, Doering. I'm like, I haven't looked at every schedule in America, but I don't think I have to. You mentioned that 4-game stretch. 3 of those on the road. That's got to be the toughest in the country. I don't think anybody has got 4 more difficult games. To reiterate for those that might have missed what Doering said earlier, these are consecutive games. There is a bye week in the middle. At LSU, at Miami, Texas, at Texas A&M, legitimately could have 3 playoff teams, and you play 3 of the 4 on the road. That is just insane.
Yeah, and you're not talking about Tennessee. You're not talking about Ole Miss, a trip to Oxford. You're not talking about Florida State, who obviously was down last year. But there's a lot of other really difficult games on the schedule. The thing that I like about this year's schedule as compared to last year, you get a chance to ramp up. You got LIU in week 1. We know Florida last year got embarrassed in week 1 against Miami. They weren't ready to go. Week 2, you get USF before having to play that LSU game. And that's a weird part on the schedule for the Florida LSU game to be. Typically it's either in October or last year it was in November. But that being the first SEC game, you at least have an opportunity to kind of get ready. And that's my biggest question, guys. It's like, how could you be – the coaching job that Napier did last year, turning them around in the middle of the season was tremendous. But the question still remains, why were they unprepared prior to the season? Like, why did you come in and get physically embarrassed the way you did against Miami and Texas A&M in September before getting things right? I do think they've changed the way they practice. I do think there's a new culture in the locker room that's led by DJ Lagway. But I am still a little skeptical as to their preparedness as they head into September, or August and then into September.
Look, he did a great job last year with that schedule. Is he still on a hot seat, though?
I don't think he's on a hot seat. I think everybody wants to go all in on Billy Napier. He's the nicest guy around. He's clearly killing it on the recruiting trail. I don't know how much you guys have seen in terms of the commitments that Florida has for the 2026 class, but there's a lot of momentum there as well. It's amazing what that month of November did last year to help create some positivity that I think honestly carried over into basketball with Todd Golden and the success they had. So Florida fans are feeling a lot different right now than they were a year ago. But I do think there is still some skepticism. So I wouldn't say hot seat, but I would say the leash isn't necessarily as long as it is for some other coaches in the league.
You mentioned start, cut, or bench. If I had thrown Lenora Sellers in there, does that change any of your thinking? I don't know where you stand on him.
Yeah, I think I went back and, at different times in the year, we're asked to do different rankings. You guys know what summertime radio is like. So I want to say I had Lenora Sellers as my third best quarterback in the league, or maybe fourth best. But I think you can make an argument that he's doing the same exact thing at South Carolina that Lagway's doing at Florida. Not only is he putting the team on his back, we saw it in that Clemson game. I mean, an unbelievable effort from him. But I think there's a lot of people that want to be around him too. And you guys saw the reports about him supposedly getting offered, $8 million or whatever it was to go elsewhere. So I love his loyalty factor. I love what he's been able to do to create some positivity around there. I'd put Lenoris in my mind ahead of Arch right now, just again because of the proven track record we have from him last season.
I know you might have some bias in this answer, and I forgot where the list was, but speaking of list, last week it was the top 25 coaches of the last 50 years or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. I can't remember who did it.
And you might have seen this, but Kirby Smart was in front of, like Steve Spurrier wasn't in the top 10. And look, I think we all agree Kirby Smart, best active coach right now in college football, but I don't think Kirby Smart is in front of Steve Spurrier yet. Would you agree with that?
Well, I need some qualification on this list. You said the last 25 years, so we'd be talking about the 2000s. I don't know that he has the resume from 2000 on that Kirby does. Clearly,
it wasn't. Let me CD. Let me back that up because I know Joe Paterno and Bobby Bowden were both in the top 5.
It was the greatest of all time because the question was, is there a chance Kirby Smart's already a top 10 coach of all time? That was the question.
Well, and they had him in the top 10.
They had him in the top 10.
They did not have Spurrier in the top 10.
And I can't remember where Spurrier was, but he was not in the top 10.
Yeah, no disrespect to Kirby. I love Kirby, and nobody speaks more highly of Coach Spurrier than what Kirby does. I mean, I listened to him talk about their friendship, and Coach Spurrier was going on and on when I was talking to him privately about how much he enjoys playing golf with Kirby and the respect that he has. So there's a lot of mutual love there between those two coaches. But how can you not? I mean, Coach Spurrier, not only what he did at Florida, look at what the offenses are doing now that Coach Spurrier was doing back not only in the 90s, but in the 80s at Duke. He was revolutionary in the way that he changed the way offensive football was played, not only in the SEC, but everywhere across the country. So I think that has to be factored in there. The fact that you don't have Coach Spurrier in your top 10 is an absolute joke. So I think that completely erodes the credibility of that list in my mind.
Yeah, I can't even remember who did it, but we just killed him. Did you realize in real time, like when y'all are playing, that you're kind of changing, not kind of, you're changing the way SEC football is being played? Like, did that occur to y'all in real time? Like, we're doing stuff nobody else is doing. We're changing the best football conference in the nation in real time.
More so to me than probably any of my teammates, too, because I grew up a Gator fan. I knew the history and the disappointment, and I knew the way football was played in the SEC. You guys remember, I mean, Auburn, Georgia, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Coach Spurrier comes in. Next thing you know, Auburn and Georgia are going 4 wides trying to throw the ball to keep up with what we were doing. So there's no doubt that we saw it in real time. And the way that the game was played, I mean, we were scoring in the 50s routinely. Teams weren't going to be able to run the football and keep up with us. So they had to adjust the way they were playing.
Do you think, random question, because Brown was asking me this coach or that coach.
I've got him if you want me to run him with him.
Yeah.
All right, real quick.
You trying to get me in trouble here?
No. You've got to pick. You have to pick in each category.
Yeah, because there was one that he asked, and I was like, I would bet my life neither one of these guys.
You have to pick first of these pairings to win a national championship, okay? Here we go. You ready?
Yep.
Kalen DeBoer, Dan Lanning, first to win a national championship.
Kalen DeBoer.
All right, you're with Lance so far. Josh Heupel or James Franklin?
Josh Heupel.
All right, you're with Lance. Lincoln Riley or Steve Sarkiasian?
Sark for sure.
Yeah,
We're talking about coaches trending in opposite directions.
I knew he was going to go.
I told you that he would be a heavy favorite in Vegas.
Lance went Lincoln Riley. He's never been a Sark believer. Here's the one where Lance said, I would bet my life in neither, but you got to pick one here, Chris. Mario Cristobal or Lane Kiffin?
I wouldn't go as far as what Lance said, but I go Lane Kiffin, man. I'm a believer, dude. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm a sucker, but I just see a different guy, and I see a ton of momentum there. So I don't know. I'm not a believer in Cristobal. We've seen the failures in clutch situations. So I'd go Lane.
My thing on Kiffin, look, and I think Lane he's matured. He's a great offensive mind. He's perfect for Ole Miss. I just can't see Ole Miss winning a national championship ever.
But Lance, you got to look at it now. We're looking through the lens of tradition of the past. Like if we're talking about being able to, the money aspect, it changes the way the limitation. I mean, shoot, we saw Diego Pavia talking about what they believe they can do at Vandy. I don't know if I'm buying that, but I think Ole Miss, with the support that they have, and why would you not want to go to Oxford? I mean, Lance and I can certainly look at what the pluses are there going to school at Ole Miss. So I'm in on what Lane's doing.
Do you think there's any drop-off from Dart to Simmons this year?
Yeah, hey, you guys know this being in Alabama. Was there ever more hype about a quarterback from one half of play than Jeremy Johnson with
No.
Was that the Arkansas game?
Yeah, it was Arkansas.
That,
Nick Marshall was suspended for the first half. Jeremy Johnson slayed it, and you had people saying, hey, go ahead and start this kid now. Let's bench Nick Marshall. Let's go
they were
now.
Preseason top 5 going into it. He was one of the Heisman favorites.
He was a Heisman favorite in a lot of people's minds. So I would say Austin Simmons, we're talking about one drive that people are fired up about. So I like the kid. I like what I've heard from him. I like what I've seen so far. Everybody talks really well about him, but I got to see a little bit more. So Jackson Dart is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play at Ole Miss. So I think there definitely has to be at least a little drop off to begin with.
All right, we have 5 of these so far. The SEC Network's Chris Doering 4 for 4 on SEC coaches in these matchups. The last one: Brian Kelly, Marcus Freeman, first to win a national championship.
Oh man,
it's a tough one there.
I would say Marcus Freeman only because the path that Brian Kelly has to face in the SEC is going to keep him out more times than not. And all the special circumstances that are made for Notre Dame. I think it's no disrespect to Brian Kelly because I like him a lot. I think this is a crucial year for him. But I think the path for Notre Dame is always going to be easier than it is for any team in the SEC or Big Ten for that matter.
You had a follow-up on that, though, right? I took it over. I thought you were going to ask him something about the list.
No, I think both of those guys will win a national championship. I think people would disagree with Brian Kelly. Marcus Freeman, it seems like Notre Dame, first of all, you got a coach you can pull for at Notre Dame, which is almost impossible. You talked about recruiting with what Billy Napier is doing. Marcus Freeman is slaying it.
Is there anybody that's more like, I don't know if you guys have been around him in person, man, but his charisma, his command, his calm, cool, and collectedness, like, you're right, man. I've never really cheered for any coach at Notre Dame, but this is one you definitely kind of cheer for, not only because of what he's doing now. I respect the hell out of guys that played at a high level, that are coaching the level that they were successful players at, and to be able to speak from the firsthand perspective as a captain and great defensive player on that Ohio State team back in the day, like, I really like what he's doing and what Notre Dame's doing as a whole.
I don't know if you overlapped playing against David Palmer at Alabama. I know you watched him.
Yeah.
He
was close.
He was 91, 92, 93, and then went to the NFL, I think, right?
Yeah. What was his nickname? Deuce back in the day?
Deuce,
yeah.
But
we played against each other in a couple SEC title games.
I brought this up today, CD. I believe that he could start for 80% of the Power 4 teams at quarterback. Like, you probably never saw him play that position, but in today's offenses, he would have been incredible.
No question about it. I mean, it's funny because usually it was like football was from the NFL down. I feel like it's switched now. It's from the high school up, where you put your best player at the quarterback position. You ask him to do everything for you. And, Deuce was the man. I have a lot of respect for those Alabama teams. We played them in 91, 92, 93, 94 in those successive years there, 3 of those being SEC title games. And, man, just what a great collection of players. And Coach Stallings was the absolute man.
Yeah, and different type of player because Percy Harvin was more physical. But pound for pound, is Percy Harvin one of the best to ever play at Florida?
Hey, hold on. He is the best at Florida. And I've said this before, and I've taken heat for it. But you look no further than how successful that 2008 team was at Florida versus the 2009 team, right? Both very good, but they were missing something. And what they were missing was the X factor of what Percy Harvin brings. If he played running back, he would have rushed for 1,000 yards easily. They used him back there some. They used him at some direct wildcat quarterback type stuff. But if they would have committed to him being a running back, he's 1,000 yards rusher. This dude is the best player by far ever to play at Florida.
Okay, weird question just because we're talking about those teams. Aaron Hernandez, did you spend time around him? I mean, seriously, did you think that, hey, there's something a little off?
Not a weird question at all, because here's the thing. Like, Coach Meyer was great about bringing back the former players. And when we would do former captains dinners where we'd come and sit with the guys, and I remember having dinner with Aaron Hernandez, he could not have been more respectful, more kind, more quiet. I saw him another time with my kids, took the time to speak to my kids. Like, it was crazy, the duality of this guy's life, because what I experienced was very different than what you see on all of these sensationalized stories.
All right, he is Chris Doering. You can follow him on Twitter at Chris Doering, on Instagram at CDoering28. See him on the SEC Network. We'll see him in Atlanta in a couple of weeks. And that is always
looking
fun.
Forward to it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you guys remember a couple years ago, I made the mistake of booking my trip to Nashville for media days from Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah.
I am not doing that. I'm not doing it this time. I'm getting out on Thursday.
Don't do that in Atlanta for sure.
Yeah, we made our plans yesterday. We'll be out on Thursday with you as well.
Yeah.
So we'll run hard early in the week.
Let's do it, man. Looking forward to seeing you guys.
All right, good to see you, Chris. Thank you, buddy. Have a great weekend.
Care.
All right, Chris Doering with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. That is our guy, Alexander Shunnarah, 24 years in Birmingham. They've grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members. Their elite trial lawyers have recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values. Those values are integrity, mastery, passion, and success. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com. Show also being presented by our guys at Lags Eatery.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night. You can get it at Lags all weekend long. They open up at 6 a.m., going all the way to 2 a.m. Get in and see Eric, Justin. Tell them the guys from the Next Round sent you. They've got all your favorite comfort foods in one place. Burgers, house-fried chicken, pancakes, homemade buttermilk biscuits, shakes, cold beer, and freshly squeezed punch. What more could you ask for? Stop into Lags, conveniently located right there in Avondale, between the Avondale Brewing and Cahaba, stone's throw away from Mom's Basement. Again, breakfast, late, lunch, dinner, and late night. It's all right there at Lags Eatery.
So we mentioned that today is the first day of summer. If you don't keep up on the calendar, it has felt like summer here for quite a while. I get that, but officially, according to the calendar, it is the first day of summer.
I thought that was tomorrow.
Today is the 20th. I read that it was the 20th.
Oh.
I think June 20th was the first day of summer,
Only
if
on
I'm
the
not mistaken.
21st.
If you want to double check me, I will take Jeeves' word for it. If Tyler says yes, it is tomorrow.
It's the 20th this year.
Well, there you go.
All right.
That's right. They don't listen. I spent 6 years at Jacksonville State. I absorbed some things. Some things I absorbed at Jacksonville State.
What do you think sunset is tonight on the longest day of the year?
Sunset in Birmingham tonight officially is going to be 8:31.
Sunset in Birmingham is officially 7:59.
Oh, bull. I'll be at it 8:31. There'll still be sun in the sky.
It rose at 5:37.
I saw that.
Well, that's a good 14 and a half hours.
That's a good day right there. And no rain today.
A lot of golf, man. How many holes could you play in 14 hours?
When I was a kid, I played 54 holes in one day.
Oh, it sounds miserable.
That's the most. I loved every minute of it.
I'd rather lay sod.
Most I've ever done. You could come lay sod at my house then. I've actually got some, which is why I was up at 5:30, keeping that stuff nice and moist. Good Lord has done most of the work on that one, but I've watered a few spots this morning. Another thing that what is it this weekend, the 50th anniversary of Joel's? What's the actual
today.
date? Today. Today. So
and this
first
was-
day of summer and the 50th anniversary of Jaws.
Have you guys gotten into it yet on the Meltdown, or are you doing it today? And I can't believe Melton never even asked me to be involved in any of the Jaws.
We talked about it some, but there's supposed to be a re-release of Jaws in theaters, and I think we were kind of waiting on that.
I'm a little surprised, 28 years later, that's a niche kind of audience for that movie. Like, you could have rolled it out this weekend to coincide with 50. I would, as much as I'm going to see 28 years later, I would go see Jaws on the big screen again, because this is going to date me, but as a 3-year-old, I went to the theater, I think 3 or 4 times that summer to see that. And I agree with Clay Travis and tweeted this out earlier. I think it is the most influential film that we've ever had.
Because you say that because everybody thought that summer getting in the water that there was a shark near them.
No, they still think that.
Well, I know, but
Yeah.
but especially that summer, it was a big deal.
But I don't.
It probably hurt tourism.
I don't. Yeah. Oh, it had to have. I
Yeah.
don't think the shark in the mainstream in pop culture back then, people knew what sharks were, but I don't think they thought, hey man, I could get in the water and get eaten by this thing. And now that's all anyone thinks about. But I am still a little surprised, because I asked on Twitter today, has everybody seen this? And there are people responding, I haven't seen it. And I don't know how you've even seen Jaws.
I've seen Jaws, but I think I've only seen it one time. I've not rewatched it.
It's the movie I've seen the most. I
Yeah.
would say, Tyler, I've seen this movie between 50 and 100 times.
Wow, that's a lot of times for Jaws. I've seen it a few times, but not that many.
Yeah, it is your favorite. Goodfellas, I think, is your favorite movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I could only keep one.
Yeah, we got to start, bench, and cut.
Our man Clay did retweet the most influential movie of all time, zero doubt, is what he said.
That's what Clay Travis said?
Yeah, if I could only keep one movie, it would be that one. But I've told you, I like a little water in my movie. Just
Okay.
it's a little refreshing. It just reminds me of the summer and the beach and everything.
Yeah.
And most movies with water in them aren't good.
That's true.
I don't know what most people think is the greatest movie ever made, but people around me that talk about movies like Luganbill and Lance and Melton, people like that, I think I hear Jaws more than any other one.
It's up there because it not only influenced people during the summer, going into the water, going into the ocean and having that fear, but it also majorly influenced the business side of movie making as well.
It was the first summer blockbuster.
Yes. Before Jaws, there was no thought of there's going to be one movie this summer that everybody is going to be talking about it, and you are left out of the loop if you didn't go see it this summer.
So Jaws started that.
You could throw a year out, and I can probably tell you what the summer blockbuster was.
1986.
1986 was Top Gun.
Oh, I'll give you an easy one. What about 87? What about the next year?
1987 would have been.
I should have done this one first, Tyler.
You should have.
Yeah, I went Top Gun right away. I'm trying to remember.
It probably would have been a Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer film.
Was Back to the Future 85? Was that the one?
Back to the Future was 85.
Or 85, okay.
85,
Yeah,
so
84 or 85.
Yeah, so that would have been the summer blockbuster, though?
Yeah, that probably would have been.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
I remember going to all of these movies. 89, I would go Point Break and Roadhouse. Those were both summer blockbusters. But I don't think we get those summer blockbusters anymore.
Yeah, we do. Jurassic World coming out next week. F1 is supposed to be.
Are you excited about F1? We've got 5 screens in front of us, and 2 of them are on ESPN2 and ESPN. They have been showing F1 trailers all morning.
So F1 has sneakily just been climbing the top of movies I am really looking for.
Yeah.
The list of movies I'm really looking forward to this year. Excuse me.
So
it's directed by the same guy who did Top Gun Maverick, and he's filming it in a similar way. And the idea is it's supposed to give you that Top Gun Maverick action
In race
an
cars.
in an F1
And
race.
it's Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's Brad
I
Pitt
like
and
Brad Pitt a lot.
Javier Bardem.
Yeah, and I love Javier Bardem as well. Did you see Rush, the Ron Howard film on
Yes,
F1?
that one was solid too.
Yeah, I thought it was really good with Hemsworth.
Yeah.
I'm getting drugged to see this one though. I guess is it at Apple or is it in the theater?
So it's made by Apple, but they're putting it in the theater so it can be eligible for awards.
But you can also get it streaming on Apple, right?
It'll
I
be
think
later.
you can because I thought. Hang on.
See, I think you know this. You don't know this, Tyler. I don't think Forrester knows this. But my girlfriend Maddie used to race cars. So she's like big on the F1 stuff. So she's dying to see this.
Yeah. So if I pull, oh, come on. If I pull up Apple TV.
If I go to Apple TV,
I can only
Plus,
play the
it says
trailer. Yeah.
Coming to theaters.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a release date for streaming yet.
Yeah, but it's got I saw it earlier when I was looking at our Apple TV here, but it's only the trailer. I mean, the trailer looks pretty good, though.
Brad Pitt is an anomaly. I mean,
in what way?
Well, I mean, look at the guy. Brad Pitt is 61 years old.
He's 61.
Yeah, I mean, go back to what you just showed him. He's completely ripped up.
Yeah, well,
great looking dude.
I hope I look that good at 61.
Yeah, I mean, 60's the new 30 for Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
I guess so. Him and Leo, they both.
But
both
Leo's
there.
Pudgy and.
Yeah.
I saw Leo just went 27 on his girl. Did you see that?
Oh, did he now?
He's dating a 27-year-old.
So how old is Leo?
Wow, he's letting her.
Because it was always the 25 was the cutoff, right?
Yeah.
Like when they would turn 25, literally they were gone.
Yeah.
He's dating a 27-year-old.
This one must have either he's getting older and he's doing math now, or this one's got something. Well, happy birthday to Jaws. So you're going to watch it tonight in the pool.
That is
the plan.
You
going to lay on a raft and watch it?
Yeah. That's the way to do it, right? Get it really, really dark in there.
Yeah, we've done trash stories before where, like on a lake, they'll do it on a big projection screen and everybody floats. And, of course, you're always going to have the prankster. You know, you won't get that at your pool.
I still wouldn't be near, like in a pool, you're going to be comfortable. You know there's nothing down there. Even in a lake.
I know. There's something in the back of your mind, right? Even in a lake.
The one-off bull shark finds its way mouth of the river.
So that is Jaws. Maybe some Jaws-related programming coming to our platform at some point in the near future.
We're
still working
on
on that. So I won't spoil the surprise. But if you're a fan of Jaws, that is perhaps coming to our platform in the very near future. So stay tuned for that. That's why you always set your alerts, right? And you make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube so you see that. All right, Odie's Tavern. They won't have Jaws on, but they'll have all the games. They're a great place to watch them.
Yeah, College World Series tomorrow, LSU and Coastal Carolina. Game 7, NBA Finals. Stop into Odie's Tavern. Enjoy the incredible food from Rodney Davis. Been doing it for almost 4 decades now. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches like that Diablo sandwich. Need a knife and a fork to attack that. Ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. And, of course, the Odie's famous cup cocktails. Live music tonight and tomorrow night. Both locations, newest in Edgewood, original in Crestline. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff at Odie's Tavern.
Nobody has been documenting more great moments in sports history in this state than our guy Daniel Moore. DanielMooreArt.com. If you want to see them all, use code TNR to get a great discount there when you go to DanielMooreArt.com. Code TNR on anything you order there gives you a great discount. It's Daniel A. Moore. From championships to great plays to great moments in Alabama sports history, he has put them all on canvas, and you can have them yourself. It's a great gift idea for that Alabama fan in your family, including his latest work with Alabama coach Nick Saban, the legend, former Alabama coach Nick Saban there, and also Buzzer Beater with Mark Sears hitting the game winner at Auburn this past season. DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. What NFL draft analysts think of some Alabama and Auburn talent, and trash next.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Heupel Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Heupel are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Heupel Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Heupel Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation state that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
All right, trash is coming up. We're about to do our college football spotlight, Tyler. I apologize. Should have told you that as we were in the break there. But what we're going to do with the college football spotlight, presented by our guy, Alexander Shunnarah, Matt Miller and Jordan Reed, two NFL draft analysts for ESPN, rated the top 5 players. They each did a top 5 at each position. Top 5 draft eligible players, okay? So this is going to exclude Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith. So they will not be on there.
I bet Jordan Tyson is, I would assume. So did they do quarterbacks?
Yes. They do every position, every single position. So it's going to be the top 5 draft eligible players. Some interesting names.
Because I am
will pop up here.
You know, I'm wondering if there is a name that we talked about a little bit yesterday that I blew Dunaway away in week 2 of the college football season last year when I was like, better quarterback is on the other side of that field, and it's not even close.
Okay. Well, that is coming up in just a moment. It's our Shunnarah Spotlight. Tyler, if you do not mind, please turn on the spotlight.
The College Football Spotlight.
Presented by Alexander Shunnarah, personal attorney there for so many of you. He's recovered more than $2 billion for his clients. One thing Alex wanted to do was create a firm that could handle any issue his community face. His community is Birmingham. He has done that. They handle not only personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com. Let's start at quarterback, and I'll run through each of their top 5s and just get your thoughts. And we're not going to do the top 5 for every position. We're just going to point out a few people. But here's quarterback. For Matt Miller, Number 1, Cade Klubnik. Number 2, Garrett Nussmeier. Number 3, Fernando Mendoza. I know you like him. Number 4, Lenora Sellers. Number 5, Drew Aller. Jordan Reed has Klubnik, Sellers, Nussmeier, Aller, Mendoza. They all got the same one, just in different orders.
I'll go on and say it here. It's not going to surprise me if Fernando Mendoza, the guy that I mentioned to Dunaway last year, I
knew that's who you were talking about.
Better than Peyton Thorne. He scoffed. Fernando Mendoza, if he goes number 1 overall next year, it will not surprise me.
Well, then Indiana's back in the playoffs.
Well, you heard Jake Butt yesterday from the Big Ten Network saying Indiana and Kirk Cignetti's going nowhere.
Yeah, that's what he said. Well, they're back in the playoffs, right? I mean, if
he's a better quarterback than Curtis Rourke.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't know if the other parts are going to match up.
Yeah. Some players you might see running back. Jeremiah Love is both of their number 1s, and understandably, right?
Notre Dame, yeah.
If you're an SEC fan, C.J. Baxter is number 2 for Miller, and Reed does not have him ranked. But he does have Wisner, Q Wisner from Texas. So 2 Texas guys ranked there. Matt Miller has Katron Allen and Nick Singleton, both from Penn State, in his top 5. So Texas and Penn State both have guys showing up in the top 5 that are draft eligible.
Well, I'll tell you, if Wisner and Baxter are that good, which they've got the potential to be, it's going to take a lot of pressure off of Arch.
Wide receiver, number 3 for Matt Miller. They still have him listed at Georgia Tech. That's where all his film is, but Eric Singleton Jr.
Did they really list him at Tech?
Yeah, it's at Georgia Tech. They got Antonio Williams, Clemson, Arizona State's Jordan Tyson that you mentioned, and Eric Singleton, Georgia Tech. That's all the tape they've watched to their defense is Georgia Tech, and this portal can get tricky, but he's at Auburn now. He's got him as the number 3 draft-eligible prospect at wide receiver.
I think we're all big Singleton fans. I still think, Ryan Williams, Cam Coleman ultimately are going to be better players.
They are, but they're not going to be draft-eligible. Yep. Tight end. Both of them have Eli Stowers at Vanderbilt very high, and Alabama fans saw a lot of him, and they can tell you why. Miller has him number 1. Reed has him number 2.
Who does Reed have number 1?
He has got Sadiq at Oregon, Kenyon Sadiq, who Miller has number 3. Offensive tackle.
Caden Proctor.
Caden Proctor, number 2 for both of them. Miller has him number 2 behind Francois Magoya at Miami, I guess. Spencer Fano at Utah for Reed. Caden Proctor, number 2 for both of them. So that's the views on him. At guard, Jaden Roberts, number 3 for Miller, and 4 for Reed. So there again, we were talking about how Pro Football Focus College had Alabama's offensive line number 1. Well, these guys say among draft-eligible players, the tackle's number 2 and the guard is number 3 or 4. At center, Jordan Reed has Auburn's Connor Lew number 1.
Okay.
There you go. Connor Lew showing up for Auburn at center. Edge rushers, we flip to the other side of the ball. Keldrick Falk, Jordan Reed's number 1 edge rusher out of Auburn. Miller has him at number 3.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's hard to believe he would fall out of the first round.
Oh, I would agree.
Based on the player you saw last year.
And as an edge rusher.
Yeah, and his size and obviously the athleticism and just everything that goes into it.
Yep. At defensive tackle, Miller has Tim Keenan, number 2, behind Peter Woods at Clemson.
Now, Peter Woods, I mean, if you don't go quarterback, I think that's your best chance at going number 1 overall.
Yeah, both of them have Peter Woods number 1. Reed has Tim Keenan at number 5. At linebacker, Miller has Deontay Lawson number 3, and Reed has Deontay Lawson number 4. So Deontay Lawson, a top 5 linebacker talent, according to them, among draft-eligible players. So those are some of the guys. I think that's going to take care of all the ones.
I just pulled the list. I mean, interesting going to Miller's top 5 linebackers with Lawson at number 3, Harold Perkins at number 5. Reed doesn't even have it. It's hard to believe that Harold Perkins is still just kind of floating out there.
That's right.
When you saw him his freshman year, and who was the quarterback he ran down from behind?
I can't remember, but his freshman year, he looked like already the best player in the SEC at the end of that year.
Oh, he looked like, maybe, hey, this is a new version of Lawrence Taylor.
I know. At safety, so they do their top 5 at each position. Caleb Downs is the number 1 safety for both of them, as you might imagine. Then they do the toughest player to rank, and then they do a player outside of the top 5. At safety, it's Alabama's Keon Sabb. So basically saying, look out for this guy. He can play his way into the top 5.
I think Bray Hubbard's the better safety. But
I know. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
That's what Harp's been telling us. Harp was the first one to tell us.
Right. I mean, this Alabama team is loaded. I
They
mean, they
really
really are.
You can read that ESPN.com. Jordan Reed and Matt Miller, 2 NFL draft analysts, ranking their top 5 draft-eligible players at each position. ESPN.com for that. And that was our Shunnarah Spotlight. Champies brings you this hour of the next round. Champies world-famous fried chicken, champieschicken.com. That's where you find Sterling and the entire crew there. They've thrown the doors open. They're ready for lunch to serve you. Go get one of the great cocktails if you want to start the weekend out that way. Get those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, the great chicken, the great sides, all right there at Champies World Famous Fried Chicken, champieschicken.com. And as we go to trash, Lance's going to tell you about Dr. B. That's the guy growing that hair back on top of Lance's head there and on top of mine.
Working that. Yeah, we both do the non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. My hair has more than doubled in thickness over the last 4 years. T3hair.net for more information, 205-319-0316. Tell that great staff from Dr. Beckenstein, the next round sent you. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. T3's got that new test. It's easy, painless, affordable, takes seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical forms. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing your hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and find out what will work. 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
Congratulations, the Cure Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees 2019. Are you as excited as I am?
By the sounds of it, no.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
I love that one every time.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. If you're heading to the beach or lake, make sure you fill that cooler full of delicious Bud Light, 4.2% ABV.
As discussed earlier on the show.
It was game on when a wanted Florida man, Florida man is always in this, right?
At least once a week, we've got Florida Man in trash. Florida Man generally makes more than one appearance in a week, but he is certainly in there at least once a week.
This is our dummy of the week. He made a social media post challenging the Polk County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Grady Judd to find him. Now, on Tuesday, the Polk County Sheriff's Office and Lakeland Police Department shared a series of Facebook posts made by Aaron Johnson, who you see there in the orange jumper. Now, in the post, Johnson states, quote, "Y'all too busy fishing, dats. Why y'all didn't catch me when I left my grandma's house today? Should have waited a bit longer. Y'all accepted the challenge, right? Hashtag Grady can't find me. Hashtag come again, Grady." Now, in a response, Polk County Sheriff's Office wrote, quote, spoken like a true man. Way to take responsibility for your actions. No worries. We will find you. Bet. Now, the series of posts continued with Johnson stating, "I done outran y'all several times. Hashtag come try again, Grady." That's when the police department responded with, "Challenge accepted." Johnson replied, "Okay, I'll give you and your crew a head start. Y'all couldn't catch me on foot or in the car last time. Maybe you're going to need that horse or your helicopter. Hashtag level up. Hashtag I'm gone, Grady."
I'm gone.
Now, what Johnson didn't know was that the Lakeland Police Department also accepted the challenge to find him after he bragged online about not being caught despite having multiple felony warrants. After capturing Johnson, Lakeland Police Department took to social media and wrote, "What Aaron didn't know is that we got their backs." When Aaron Johnson jumped on Facebook and challenged the Polk County Sheriff's Office, bragging he couldn't be caught despite having multiple felony warrants, our officers said challenge accepted. In response, they wrote online, "You done messed up, Aaron. You forgot all the agency here in Polk worked together. Thanks, Lakeland Police Department, for the fine. Hashtag got him. Hashtag teamwork makes the dream work. Hashtag play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And hashtag Aaron ran, but we caught him anyway."
The thing that baffles me about this, and I know criminals aren't smart by nature, But Tyler's guy that is still, I guess, on the loose in the New Orleans 10, right?
I keep looking for updates to both my guy and Lance's guy.
Well, your guy, I thought your guy was as good as caught when he escaped, and the first thing he did was jump on Instagram and do an Instagram video.
I don't know why that's a good idea to post anything on social media when you're on the run.
It is not. The one thing you don't want to do is establish a digital footprint and let the computer geeks tell Lakeland County sheriffs, oh, by the way, just get him to respond one more time. We'll tell you exactly where the guy is.
Yeah, New Orleans police was like, oh, this guy definitely in the area.
Yep.
We have no idea where Derek Groves.
No,
that's Lance's guy.
Derek Groves is going underground. We may not find Derek now. Didn't Derek Groves' family appear? Didn't we have that story?
Yeah, his girlfriend got arrested.
Girlfriend.
But nobody's seen Derek.
You don't want to see Derek.
He's on his way to Zihuatanejo.
Yeah, he's going to go meet Andy at the boat.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, though.
But I think everything's in play for Derek if he was going to get caught.
Well, but if they've got Derek's girlfriend, she's going to want out of prison, and at some point, she's going to tell him where he is. That was the key, is getting a girlfriend in there, and they're going to be like, look, you don't have to stay here if you don't want to. You work with us, so we'll get you out tomorrow.
In a bizarre display of defiance, Wild Monkey was caught on camera ripping apart a government banner that warned against feeding wildlife, a scene that has both amused and intrigued Hong Kongers. Now, the incident captured on June 16th and shared on social media shows the primate targeting a sign that read, quote, fixed penalty, $5,000, leaving the fine amount torn away.
So he tore out the fine amount.
Now, the move came as the Agriculture, Fisheries, and Conservation Department has recently intensified enforcement against illegal feeding, issuing a $5,000 fixed penalty notices to 26 people since April.
Why did the monkey get so upset, you think?
I don't know. Maybe he associated that sign being put up with people stopped giving me food.
Yeah, nobody's feeding me.
Hey, this is creepy, isn't it?
It's pretty funny,
now that you mention it, that makes a lot more sense. So he's tearing a hole like, hey, this sign's in the way of my lunch, so I'll just tear a hole right here, and you can go ahead and feed me again.
He's got a thick-ass tail, doesn't he?
He does. That is a big tail.
It's like a third leg. Just saying. You couldn't dock that.
Yeah, you could not.
Man who was accused of killing a couple of nudist resort people reportedly did so over a hot dog. It's a good-looking chili dog right there.
Too many onions. Other than that, I would eat the heck out of it.
I think the onions look really
Boy,
good.
this old boy he's had...
This is Michael Royce Sparks, 62 years old, was charged in September with 2 counts of murder with special circumstances in the death of Stephanie Menard, 73, and her husband, Daniel Menard, 79. Now, the couple had been reported missing in the desert community of Redlands. Last seen at their home August 24th of 2024. They lived at the Olive Dale Ranch, which is described on its website as a residential RV park and nudist resort. No, thank you.
Hard pass.
What's worse than living in an RV park?
Everybody naked.
Everybody naked.
Yeah, I don't think you want to see anyone that owns an RV naked.
Wow.
Generally.
That is shout out to our friends at Johnston RV. It's just a combo. Like, I don't know that you're entirely right, but I think the people where the Venn diagram crosses over is like RVs and want to be naked all the time. Yeah.
Have you ever seen About Smith?
I have not.
Oh, great movie with Jack Nicholson. Bad scene with Kathy Bates getting in a hot tub naked, but he drives the RV across the country, and he is in an RV park for a little bit, and
I don't know if I'll ever watch that just because you said Kathy Bates.
You're going to want to fast forward that.
Just giving you a heads up.
I don't want to see that.
Hey, by the way, dude in the mugshot there, Chris says Urban Meyer and Sean Connery had a baby. I could see it.
It's got a little James Brolin.
Maybe some James Brolin too.
Yeah.
Tyler, can you zoom in? What's going on the face there? Those are not tattoos. He's just
a little dusty. He was cleaning a chimney.
Dirty.
Yeah, you think the arrest might have.
It looks like he's licking his lips, too, like he's looking at this chili dog right here.
That chili dog does look good. I mean, no onions. I like the way that hot dog's cooked right there. I like the fact that they toasted the bun.
My man doesn't look like he's got any teeth.
He doesn't. He's going to gnaw that hot dog.
So officials said they found the couple's remains in bags in a concrete bunker underneath his home.
Ooh.
That took a turn.
Yeah, boy. That's having fun with this story till then.
Now, according to the Press Enterprise, in a court hearing Monday, a detective testified that Sparks admitted to another inmate that he killed his neighbors. He said the final straw was a hot dog. Now, police detective Thomas Williams testified that Sparks told the other inmate that Daniel Menard had given him a hot dog, which he felt was a jab at him. Quote, he said Mr. Sparks felt that the hot dog was a jab, making him feel like he was worth only $1 hot dog, and that's what set him off. I think this guy was probably on edge about to kill somebody anyway.
I'd say so. He didn't need much pushing.
Sparks, and this is where we're talking island, probably decapitation, is accused of brutally beating the couple with a rake, a hoe, and a hammer. He also admitted to drowning Menard's dog Cuddles in a sink.
Jeez, this guy.
Yeah, they said he had a long history of tension with the Menards.
Yeah, it sounds as though that's the case.
Over a trim tree. Get grays out, you'll never have to deal with it.
That's right. Trim tree.
We talked about Disney and their ability to jam you up all over when it comes to the wallet. As much as you like Disney, you will give me, they will beat that wallet to death.
But they're very smart in the way they do it, Lance, because here's, and I mentioned this before on the show. So you pay for your lodging before you get there, right? So you've already paid for that. So, like, if I go, if Jennifer and I go out of town this weekend, chances are I'm going to show up to the hotel and I'm going to have to plop out the plastic and pay for it, right? Disney, you've already paid for it. When you get there, you don't give them a dime. And then the way they really get you is they convince you, and it's the easiest way to do it, is to get on the band and you just charge everything on the band. Whew. No clue what you're paying. No clue.
We had a sip and sell card on Carnival.
Yeah. Yep.
That's how they get you.
You hit that credit card.
You think it's free money until you're leaving.
That's right. That credit card thing updates, and you're like, "Whoo, boy, we spent a lot of money here at Disney."
Family of 5 kicked off their morning at Disneyland with nearly a 4-figure price tag. Now, ex-user at JRock'n'Rolt, a.k.a. John Rock'n'Roll Tolkien, took to the social media app on Monday to share a photo of his receipt from the family's breakfast. The bill showed he had spent $937.65, including a $150 tip. In the caption, he wrote, "Princess breakfast at Disneyland with my kids, almost spit out my coffee."
No, the character meals are very, very expensive at Disney. I've done them.
Now, this is a 3-course breakfast, activities with Disney's princesses, like story time with Belle, according to the park's website. Now, the meal starts with a tiered tower of appetizers like lobster rolls, cornbread, and beignets. For the main course, kids can choose between chicken and Mickey Mouse-shaped waffles and mac and cheese. Adults have options like braised short ribs, deviled eggs, truffle mac and cheese. For the final course, guests can taste cream puffs, sorbet, and other desserts. Now, the price tag starts $142 for adults and children, ages 3 to 9 per the site. Tip and tax not included. Post quickly garnered ex-users' attention and has been viewed over 15.5 million times.
I mean, again, you drop me at a restaurant here in town, and I can eat, and Jennifer could say, what did we spend on that meal? I could get within $10, probably $10, $20. You do that at Disney. What did we just spend on that meal? I'll be like, no idea. Could have been anywhere from $150 to $1,000. Really don't know.
A picture of his plate shows shrimp cocktail, mac and cheese, asparagus, deviled eggs, and beef roast.
For breakfast?
He wrote that the food was a 7 out of 10, not too strong, right?
Yeah.
Now, he did say service was, quote, attentive, enthusiastic. Princesses were all trained pro actresses, spent a lot of time with the kids. I enjoyed it, he commented.
I hope the service would be attentive. Like if I'm sitting there with an empty glass of sweet tea, and I dropped $1,000 on the meal.
Yeah.
That's awful.
I need a princess to come over here and give me some tea.
Yeah.
We took Leighton 2 times to Disney. She never was into the princesses, though.
We did them with both of our kids, but you probably only get one shot at that one. You got to take them when they're really young.
So recently, Meta has been rolling out a new feature for their Meta AI app, the Discover tab, where users can see what other users are asking Meta AI to answer or make for them. Now, here are some of the weirdest questions. This is disturbing.
Okay, these are all questions that have been asked?
Yeah. And it gets from, there's some bad and some. First one, what country or what counties do younger women like older white men? I need details. I'm 66 and single. I'm from Iowa. I'm open to moving to a new country if I can find a younger woman.
Yeah. So where can I go to pick off a young female?
Yep.
Give me a good desperate one. You know what the answer is probably is, why don't you try Singapore?
Next one, my boyfriend tells me not to be so sensitive. Does that affect him being a feminist?
I'm going to say you probably don't describe him as feminist.
And next up, What cream or ointment can be used to soothe a bad scarring reaction on my scrotum sac caused by shaving razor?
Somebody's going through this issue and is typing it
Yeah.
into Facebook AI to figure it out.
Yeah, don't accidentally hit post. I'm glad you make sure you're in the right text.
Well, now you can see all these chats.
Yeah.
They're public.
Tell me if the next one's going to have a little red flag to it. Create a letter pleading Judge Bowser to not sentence me to death over the murder of 2 people.
I like the fact. Here's what I like. Is that you're facing the death sentence, and rather than write something heartfelt, you're just going to do ChatGPT, right?
Right.
I really don't want to take a ton of time doing that.
Lock me up forever. Just don't kill me, Judge Bowser.
And don't have it write up a letter to the judge. Have it create a picture of you asking the judge nicely.
And finally, someone asking if their sister, a vice president at a company that has, quote, not paid its corporate taxes in 12 years, could be liable for that.
Yeah. Could you maybe? God, 12 years. How do you not get caught in 12 years not paying taxes? That is Trash presented by Bud Light. As always, great job, Tyler, and thank you very much, Lance. Before we get out of here, one final thought. Heupel Services bringing you that. They bring you Lance's Lock, and they make sure you got that cold air as the temperature is rising outside.
What are you keeping your current AC at?
69.
I'm leaving mine at 68 right now. It's just rolling. Everything is updated, ready to roll. Thanks to our friends at Heupel Services. Did have to have them out this past week for a plumbing issue up in Jack's bathroom. But if you experience any of the plumbing, heating, or cooling issues, home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or HempillServices.com.
We get a Game 7 Sunday night. Lance will have a play at lanceslock.com, 7 o'clock for that one. Gut right now, Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I mean, if Oklahoma City, if they shit the bed on this one and they can't take it home at home, this is going to be, I don't want to say meltdown because it's gone win, loss, back and forth. It hasn't been a great 7-game series, but they are going to be the biggest favorite in 25 years to not win a championship.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one to swallow if you're an Oak City fan. So that is Sunday night, 7 o'clock. We'll talk about it Monday. Dunaway will be back with us. Thank you all for joining us for the show today. Thank you to Scott Forrester, Tim Melton, Tyler Johns, E.G., Taylor Korn, Lance Taylor. I'm Ryan Brown. Make sure you give us a thumbs up on YouTube, set your alerts, subscribe, and please set those automatic downloads on podcasts. That helps us a ton if you set your automatic downloads on podcast, whatever service you use. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. We'll see you Monday. Thank you for watching us on the next round. The Meltdown coming up at 2 o'clock.